What's up, everybody? This is Super Mike 2164. Hold on a second. Sorry, I'm a little late. What's up, everybody? Y'all can press the thumbs up. Y'all can share it, like the message. Let me get a few things together here. Yeah, we're going to go over a couple things today, guys. I'm just, trying to get a few last minute things together. So, bear with me. Bear with me.
But my overarching objective, if we cannot make significant progress on racial equity, this country is doomed. This country is doomed. This country is doomed. This country is doomed. It is doomed, not just because of African Americans, but because by 2040, this country is going to be minority white European. Hear me? Hear me? Hear me? Minority white European. And you guys are going to have to start working more with Hispanics, who make up a larger portion of the population than y'all do, in terms of raw numbers.
All right, guys, I think we'll get started. What's going on? Y'all hear Biden? Biden over there telling y'all who y'all got to work with. They make up a larger population than y'all. All right, so we're going to go through a couple things. We're going to open up the show, but I just wanted to kind of lay a foundation real quick. All right, so the thing is, we see a lot of stuff in this country now. It's getting a little bit more aggressive. They're switching it all the way back to good old-fashioned, regular, smegular racism straight up in your face. They're letting you know we want this. We want this, you know what I'm saying? Regular old, good old racism, but we hate this. Y'all in trouble if you do this. We can't have this. We need this thing here. We need that. See, that's normal. Those little this little symbols, you know, that the black sun right there. We got to start paying attention to symbology. So this is what I started off with, and this is Wile E. Coyote, and you know this Wile E. Coyote, he always liked to, he always was trying to figure out how to kill the Roadrunner so he can eat it. And the Roadrunner, you know, he wasn't really that smart, but he could run real fast, and for some reason the Roadrunner ended up just by mistake beating the coyote. And that's kind of how we are. This coyote set up, this white man, they got all kinds of ways to kill us. They set stuff up 20, 30, 40 years in advance. And they get a lot of us. They, you know, inconvenience us. But for some reason, somehow, some way, they end up getting hit by their own rock. And so, you know, but with the thing is, though, it does affect us. And I wanted to kind of step into that a little bit because we need to understand how this stuff, how letting people who hate you, letting the people who hate you control the source of your resources. Like I see a lot of people out here talking about we need some kind of special protection for black people. Well, that's true. But the thing is, no bill, no law works. It depends on who is implementing the law as well. So if we need some sort of protection for black people, we're going to have to implement it ourselves. We're going to have to make sure that black folks are the ones who are overseeing every important section and aspect and dimension of the implementation of that law. And that means we're going to have our organization. We're going to have our stuff together. So like I said before, I want to start this one off actually going over some of this. Let's see if I have it here.
The following is an HDNet original presentation.
This work. All right, so way back, white folks, they will definitely like to come up with all kinds of little specials highlighting black people. They will highlight us and highlight everything that was wrong with black people. A national disgrace. This is what they do. They've been doing this. I think this came out like in 1990 or something. They find a couple black people, and they would, usually black women, and they would follow them, tell you how bad they was. What's going on, Leroy? Yup. Exactly. Yeah, but the thing is, they would tell you all the stuff that was bad about our cities, about everything that we did, and it make you seem like we didn't know nothing. We were just dumb. So we're gonna go through a couple of this. This is about the Detroit school systems. I want to get a couple of, this is Obama's guy. Now, in Detroit, I grew up in Detroit, they would take resources away from the black people, the schools, close down the schools, set up gangs, and then create situations where everybody was fighting each other. That's how they did it. They create situations, everybody was fighting each other, and then they would go in there and do a special, show you how crazy black people is. And you thinking that, everybody there is nuts. What's wrong with black people? The white man ain't doing nothing to you. It's you doing something to you. And I want to show some of these things. I just want to show a couple situations. I want to get everybody's comment on it. If we can, I'm going to send some messages out. Yeah, the same thing they do to Africa. They do this every time. This is what they do, man. If we don't increase our ability to see these type of attacks, and I'm about to drop this link in a minute, but I just want everybody to, like I said, send this message to somebody because, what I'm saying, we want to get some other folks to, you know what I'll do? I gotta drop it over here. Hold on. I gotta drop it over here on Facebook. I'm gonna drop the link over here on Facebook, guys. We want y'all to come up. Just hit that link. You'll pop up. We're gonna go over here. Of course, on YouTube and Twitter. We'll drop this link. And make sure y'all come up with your cameras. Cameras on. You don't have to show your face, but just, I guess you got to have the camera activated. But I do want everybody to comment if you can. Let me send this out. I got to send this out also. I want to hit a couple of message boards, guys, because I want, this is, I'm going to play this real quick. Hold on a second. I'm going to play this real quick. We're going to play this real quick, guys. So for the first few minutes, we're going to just be kind of listening in because I really want to get some of this out, because then we're going to look at this one. This is the famous one.
Important in the family.
There's another little special Bill Moyers did, talking about the destruction and the demise of the black family. Throwing single, they go in there and act like they so concerned. They're going there real concerned, huh? Real concerned. You see, this is all the symbology I want to kind of get into just a little bit. But I want to do this one first because I got to get into this Detroit thing. Hold on. I want to try to send this message out to a couple of people that you know. And we're going to get into it. Oh, goodness. Here it is. Let's see. I mean, and the conversation can go generally wherever, but I want to do it this way. Hold on. Let me see. All right. If you want. Let me message everybody, guys. All right. All right, so we're going to go through this just a little bit. Just a little bit. All right, so let's go through this. So back in Detroit, you know, they love to talk about the school system. This is, I think this is Dan Rather, his special. So. And when you look at any black city, especially Detroit, they love to show you about the dilapidated buildings. This is what they really, really love to show. But what they don't want to show you is the economic warfare that they did 20, 30 years prior to that, just because black people took over the city. Keep in mind, black people, you know, and I'm going to show this here. This is the one before that. This is how that got set up. We want to and the thing is, a lot of us are not sophisticated enough, and that's what I want to do. I want to figure out how do we show these connections, because a lot of black folks really, we can't see these connections, because back in the day they seen us waking up. This is racism, but it's by policy. And, you know, a lot of us, we love to blame each other. Oh, you can't blame the white man right now, which kind of is true, You can't really blame the white man, because we should be smart enough to see this. We letting these people just come in here and run everything. But this first one I want to do is this. A second. And we can talk about the medical. Well, I don't want to talk. I want to talk about the medical stuff Wednesday. So get your documents for the medical stuff, because we can't be on YouTube when we talk about that stuff, because these people will love to cancel everything. They love canceling. You know, restriction of conversation. That's how you know they're scared. They got something to hide. Hold on a second. I may not be able to do this. She's not doing it. All right, folks. So, yeah. So the bottom line. Oh, you know what? So when the black people had riots in Detroit, when we did our riots in Detroit, and a lot of the white people left, then what ends up happening is all the white businesses, they put them right on the outskirts of the city. So this way they could get the money from the people of Detroit. So they wasn't scared of another riot, because, you know, you can ride right on you can get the store if it's right on the edge of 8 Mile. But what they wouldn't do, they wouldn't pay taxes to the black government. And we see them do this all over the country, even down in Georgia. I've seen them do that. When black people take over a particular government with voting, the white people, they either cut out their own city, or they will leave their big businesses and their country clubs and stuff. They will leave so they wouldn't have to pay taxes to that city. And it was basically like an economic sanctions. And this is what they do to foreign governments. And if you look at, I've been checking out and studying the CIA and their moves, and really the CIA is legitimized corporate violence. That's what they are. They're just a arm of the government that goes in there and they sabotage all the competition of a particular business. But let's listen to Dan Rather real quick. I know that story. That's
First thing that strikes you when you drive around Detroit is the number of abandoned buildings. The ghosts of a city that was. Early in 2009, I came here to investigate the city's failing public schools for my weekly television news program. But when my team and I started digging, we found a story that was much more complex than we had imagined. So we decided to spend a year documenting a school district in crisis and the students who are trapped in the system with nowhere else to go.
Get me back in the school. Everybody back in this board's off.
We can't go.
What we do? Let's go. Because you should be in school or going home. That's what.
No.
Man.
We was going back to the school. I used to see how they treat me.
Go back to the school.
At Osborne School, 800 or 900 students come in as ninth graders. By the time they're 10th graders, it's down to 545 students. By the time they reach 11th grade, it's down to 345 students. When this same cohort reached 12th grade, it's 245 students to graduate. And by then they've had to take the high stakes test, the MEP test, in the 4 main areas, and remember it's minimum competencies. 11 students, 11 passed the MEP test. What are the other 780 students going to do for employment? The economics of poverty have devastated Detroit, and without a successful public education system, like most of the urban centers, they're not going to make it.
And now, what does making it mean? So she just told us the problem, right? But they don't tell us, okay, so you see abandoned buildings. He drove around the abandoned buildings, which are there. But you see people, they ain't skinny, they eating. The school, it's relatively clean, I guess. She just told you how bad it is. Nothing good. Okay, let's keep going. I just want to see what we're looking at here.
When it comes to Detroit public schools, some of them, when they graduate from high school, they still can't read. They still can't add, subtract.
They don't care if you're gonna learn. They will not show you how to do it or nothing.
One of my teachers told me if I come to his class, he said he would just pass me if I just show up and shut up. They say they make their money whether we learn or not.
Now we do hear that. We hear that. We've been hearing that since I was little. Well, I make my money whether y'all, graduate or not. We hear that in different parts of the, we hear that in different parts of the nation too. I make my money whether you graduate or not. We talking about hiding their hands. They're showing you a problem in Detroit. Now keep in mind, that is a Black-ran government. This government is getting economic sanctions. The question is, and I want to get to a point. Here's the black man. They're showing the black man. He's in a nice suit. He's looking pretty good, and he's in a position of control. How come the schools ain't good? That's basically the question that's going to pop inside your mind, because you don't know what's wrong, so you're going to blame the people that's in control
and run something for ourselves in our own way and it's not happening.
Let's listen to what he said, because
they're missing critical thinking skills. They're missing communication skills.
My objective is to blow up the system and start over, because the system in place does not work.
And I live in this community, and as I looked around as a father, I was very dissatisfied because I thought Detroit would be a different community than what it is now. And it's not. For me as a child, it was a beacon of hope for African Americans to demonstrate to the world that we could raise out of slavery and run something for ourselves in our own way, and it's not happening.
Now listen to how Dan Rather put that on there, because see, that's what the issue is. This is what whites object. Whatever your objective, black folks, the white man objective is to mess your stuff up. That's what his objective is. You running your own. This is why you hear anything where black people running it, their job is to make it look like y'all can't do nothing. This is what they're doing. But if you don't teach your kid about the history of what you just went through, they're not going to understand what's the problem. How come they don't get the same resources? And then immediately, this is black people running stuff the way they should, and immediately they go to this clip. You got to realize, like anything that the white man is doing, this is how they're going to set you up. They get to hold the guns. Okay, they get to hold the levels of power and legitimate. When you do it, it's dysfunctional. You're doing the same thing they're doing, but no, they're not going to legitimize that. That's what your media is for. Okay. Let me keep going. I want to go through, there's a certain part. Okay, so this is when the white man ran it. Let's look and see what happened. Way back. Dan Rather going to show you the worst buildings, as if there's no nice places in Detroit. But, like I said before, we have to see visions over years. This is why y'all cannot survive without teaching your people history. Because if you don't see history, all you're going to see is one moment in time. And like I said, anybody can come up. You guys can come up here. Right now, we're laying the foundation of some of the conversation. But I'm going to show some. I just laying a couple of pieces of foundation. But y'all can come up. Y'all can hit the link. If you over here on Facebook, I got the link posted there. Or you can comment if you don't feel like coming up. If you up here on YouTube, go ahead and put a comment in. Tell me your questions or any comment that you see or whatever you see. But we're going to highlight a couple of things. You gotta see stuff over years. If you don't see it over a period of time, you're not going to see it. You're going to think that black people have no business running things. This is what they want you to think. We're too stupid to run anything on our own. We must ask white people to please bestow on us. Help us, white people. We're too dumb to run things by ourselves. We need y'all. We need y'all to help us. That's what we need. Because we're too dumb. That's what they want you to say. Call them in because you can't handle it. But what are they doing? On the back end, anytime you get something, they snatch all the money, snatch all the funding. So your politicians can promise what they want to do. They want to implement the rules the correct way. But the things that your politicians or your civil leaders and servants need and require to implement the policy that they know you want, who's messing that up for them? That's what we need to understand. And how do we make sure that those resources can?
Detroit is unsurpassed for opportunity and growth. There is a renaissance, a rebirth in the city.
Now look how slick Dan Rather is here. Detroit mayor, 1962 to 1970. There was a riot because the black people in Detroit were being treated wrong. Okay. they were treated like trash. So Dan Rather shows the mayor right before when the black people took over, the racist mayor, okay, the racist one. He was a racist. And then after, but so at this time it was such a beacon of hope, right? But when the black people took over, y'all got it messed up. So let's look.
There's a newness in Detroit.
There was a time, not so long ago, that Detroit shook with optimism.
Detroit, an exciting place to be, to live, to grow, to work shoulder to shoulder, regardless of national origin, color, or creed.
The Motor City was once the 4th largest in the United States. It boasted vibrant department stores and world-class art museums.
The inner city is becoming an exciting place to live.
A bustling, prosperous metropolis.
Convenient to shops, offices, and the most modern of schools.
With a population of 2 million and nearly 400,000 students in its schools, the city was multiracial and middle class. But by the time this promotional film was made in 1965, the seeds for Detroit's decline had already been planted.
Part of the lure of the suburb is in the greater elbow room it offers.
White flight, with its movement of jobs and wealth to the suburbs, was well underway.
4 days of rioting, looting, and arson rocked the city of Detroit.
Now look, rioting, arson, looting. This is what they do. This is how they run it. What's up, Leroy? What's going on, big brother?
I can't call it. What's good? Let's get into this.
Yeah. And hold on. Let's look at this. Yeah, we got to depend on ourselves. And I agree with that. That's 100%. Somebody, so what's going on, Quan? My cousin Quan.
Hey, charity starts at home, don't it?
Right. Hold on, I'm gonna see
but it's funny how they turn over the reins and the reins to, we'll say, that wagon, right? So you got horses and you're in the wagon, but then they take the reins. So you just riding in the wagon with no way to steer it, or they give it to you in a bad condition, is what I'm saying.
Right. Well, no, they don't tell all the history. What they do is this is the issue that I'm trying to get black folks to understand. Like, we be dependent on their statistics, their numbers, and to make our decisions. And they ain't gonna give it to you straight like that. And you think just because it's all professional and stuff, they're news people. Oh, they got to do their job, right? Don't they got to do their job?
Yeah.
No, their job ain't to tell you. Their job is to tell it to you in a certain way. I grew up in Detroit. Everything in the Detroit newspaper, which is white-controlled media, it was all so negative. Everything the mayor was stealing, everything in the newspaper was so negative against the the city and whatever the city had going on. Everything. There wasn't nothing going on positive. And it was like, bro, we got this going on. They act like we about to die. Like when I read the paper and stuff, we'd be like, dang, like let's say Devil's Night or something like that. They pretend like the whole entire city is burning down. That's how they run it. We was like, nah, bro, this is not how it's running. Because we don't even know, and people be calling like, y'all okay? They show Detroit is burning down. I'm like, nah, bro. No, it's not burning down. Yeah, Artemis Church. If you want to come up, bro, we'd be happy to have you up so you can comment too. Like I said, guys, this is an open show. We need to start trying to get our voices and get used to putting our voices out here, because in this social media, I'll probably do a show on it a little later. A lot of some of the dumbest people are talking. This is another issue. This is another issue that we're going to see a problem with later on, because what ends up happening is we look dumb as I don't know what. You know,
social media has given everyone a microphone.
right. It's a good thing. It's a bad thing too. It's a good thing. It's a bad thing because we got to go through the bad part because we need to see what's the actual problems out there on that level. But now the time is people that got a half a brain. I mean, I ain't saying people y'all got to be all on this thing like that, but it's like, okay, y'all, it's a good thing to start because this is a permanent record that we're doing. You got to realize from 100 years, 200 years from now, our descendants, they're gonna look, hey, what was great grandparent doing during this time? During that time, they're gonna be looking at these records here.
If it's not buried, wiped from the internet,
they're gonna get
put
it
on a hard drive and destroyed.
Nah, they're gonna get it. It's gonna be some of it. It's gonna be out there. Some of it's gonna be destroyed, but they're gonna have access to it. It's the same thing like we go back 1,000 years and we be looking at, what they was doing 2,000 years or 100 years or whatever. They're gonna be looking at it. They're gonna have access to it. And a lot of stuff is being saved. So that's the thing. But at the same time, they can use certain things to make you look really stupid. And that's what they're doing with this history. And I want to play a little bit more. So, guys, just check this out. We've got to depend on ourselves once again. And that's what we need to always understand. But if we don't show the history, then our way, then we're going to always look stupid. Because the white media, their job is to keep themselves in control. And since they really can't keep us down, because too many of us actually, they're not going to tell you when you got power.
And therein lies why there was the need from them for the Negro Project.
Exactly. The Negro Project. And that right there is something that, that's a whole nother rock. Like I said, we got to get this stuff. This here, we don't want the word to go out that we want to exterminate the Negro population.
which is her admitting that internally this is what we say.
Right. See, so we don't want the word to get out. See, we're going to throw this rock because we're going to exterminate them. But we don't want them to know that. See? So they got to, but they can't kill you unless they can sneak up on you. You got to realize our power, though. So in this, you got to realize our power because they don't have the power. Like they want us to believe that they have so much power. All the money is theirs. Well, the white man is the one hiring you. Well, because he makes sure that you don't have a business class that is independent. Anytime you get a bunch of pro-black or black business classes that start running their own thing, he cut them out and buried the history.
Or blow it up, Greenwood.
Blow it up, and then even if he can't do that, then he just kind of the history so that nobody will repeat it. This is
or they're disjointed like they do conversations on Facebook, so you can't follow the coherent thought. You know what I'm saying? Even if there's disagreement, they disjoint the conversation intentionally. That's one of the things that stuck out from some of the information you sent earlier, where they said that, well, it wasn't intentional what happened in Detroit as far as how the split ended up happening, where segregation was still in effect, but based on, for lack of a better term, educational lines. They did it through the education system.
Let's do this right before you get to that. Let's get right here. Here we go. Let's look. Let's see. Hold on. Okay, so look. Let's look. Okay, Detroit news. Okay. See, I wanted some of my people from Detroit to come up here through here, I wanted my mom because my mother was in school when this was happening. So I wanted her to be able to tell us what was the situation prior to this, okay, in Detroit. Because you got to realize those riots happened. I remember she telling us, we ran them out the paint. We ran them out the spot. But anytime you run somebody out the spot, as a war, it's your job to fix it up, to build it in your way. And we didn't have that sophistication. We kept thinking like we was part of this country and all that stuff. So we didn't understand that when you, let's say you win a war, that's really what that was. That was a battle in a war. And we don't get it. We really don't get it. Anytime you're trying to do something, black people, that allows you to not be a slave, straight up, that's a war, because that their whole thing for you is slavery or dependency, poverty.
Yeah, that's it. Yes, and that's the new slavery, making
Right.
everyone dependent on the government.
Right. But and see, the government is actually the businessman. And if they don't want, see, your businesses are not part of the yacht club. Your people aren't part of the same business club. And the few black folks that are a part of the club, they are sellouts. They're only there because they've been, basically they are willing to sell out the black people. They're going to use their melanin, their face, to trick you. That's how that works. I mean,
It does. It does.
So the thing is, we don't understand that we got to get our own clubs. And I mean, we're going to get to the solution phase right now, but right now I just want to kind of show this is the situation. Just want to kind of highlight this point for us.
Ruled that the only way to break down the barriers of race in Detroit's increasingly African-American schools was to use busing to integrate them with dozens of white suburban school districts. The white suburbs revolted, passing resolutions to try to stave off the court order, and the issue became national.
Arguments next in number 73-434, Milliken against Bradley.
The landmark case, known as Milliken versus Bradley, reached the Supreme Court in 1974, and in a contentious 5-4 decision,
When were you born?
The year before. But I've been to Detroit. I stayed up there for about a week, and yeah, I've seen some things.
But this is not just in Detroit. Keep in mind, this is the Supreme Court of the entire nation.
Oh yeah, I have some horror stories for Atlanta.
Right. But I'm getting people to understand this is started in Detroit because the argument started in Detroit. This particular argument, because black people at that time, we thought, what we were thinking, we're gonna force them to love us. We're gonna force them to accept us
And make us part of their system.
We're gonna force that, because we didn't understand, though. We really didn't understand, because how would we understand? Nobody was training us. We got to understand this here. The problems that even black folks, even in confusion that we have, what else can we expect? We're going to make some mistakes. We didn't know. Who taught us different? Our memories were wiped in slavery. We don't have no, we didn't, especially at that time, we didn't have no access to ancient history of our own people, our mistakes, our wins, our losses. We didn't really teach that. And that's the problem now. We don't teach our wins and losses. So our people trying to do something, they starting from square one. Okay, so here it is. When you take over an area, you got to have the business people. You got to have, it don't matter if it's janky. You can't expect nothing from the other communities. They're not going to give you any money. All monies have to be generated by your business community. And those business people are going to have to stay there and work out whatever problems that they go through. And they got to have the patience to do that. It takes a while. And the enemy is going to keep blocking you. That's what business is. Business is a competition. So here it is. This is in New York Times. This is the case.
Justices overturned the lower court ruling. There would be no busing between Detroit and her suburbs. The city line became a line of racial divide, separating Detroit's public.
This top line is 8 Mile Road, and even Eminem made a song about this road, 8 Mile Road. So
public schools from the mostly white suburban schools.
The court today takes a giant step backwards.
In a stinging dissent, Justice Thurgood Marshall railed against what he saw as systematic injustice.
The Detroit School Board consciously drew school attendance zones along lines which maximize the segregation of races in their schools.
He felt
now you see that this is the only black man, and he's not like Clarence Thomas. He's a black man. So this man, he don't care about, everybody being mad at him. He just like, I know what y'all doing, and I'm just going to document, this for the history. And he did that for us, and we got to take advantage of that. Sometimes our people don't win the battle at the moment because they're overwhelmed, but the fight has to happen so that when the crap hits the fan, and the future generations, they're like, damn, how come we got it so bad? They can look back into history and see somebody tried to fight.
the ruling was a perversion of Brown versus Board of Education, in which the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that school segregation on the basis of race was unconstitutional.
The very evil that Brown was aimed at will not be cured, but will be perpetuated.
And today, more than 50 years after Brown, Detroit's public schools are 80.
Now, first of all, they're showing kids playing on the playground. There's nothing wrong with that. This is good. And that's a lot of times, they can actually show us in a certain way and there's no problem, but they can make it look like something wrong.
I mean, they're not showing them in the classroom,
Well, yeah, but it's a park, and look, I'm gonna tell you straight up, I had a great time for the most part with Detroit. To me, Detroit, coming up in my school, in our schools, and I went to many Detroit schools because we moved all over the place because of poverty. So yeah, we were poor, but it actually, the schools to me, it created a love for Black people that when I go to different parts of the country, I see that they don't have. That I feel, because school is not just what they teach you, but it's also what they make you want to learn. It's like the students have to want to learn. And, just because you poor, that's a problem with us too. Be thinking just because people poor doesn't mean that somehow, it's like you get some of your best people out of poverty, but if they had the most money, but they become sellouts. So, that's another thing that we probably got to touch on later. But, I just want also us to remember, we're looking at the way the white man wants us to look at it.
8% African American and only 2% white. But race,
as if that was a problem. It's a Black city. That's a nice part. See, anyway, let's keep going.
Is only part of the story. As Detroit has become poorer and its schools worse, many African Americans who have the means to move elsewhere or send their children to private school have done exactly that. And that line around Detroit that used to separate blacks and whites now segregates by economic class as well.
So it's not just white flight. Blacks have left. Black professionals that fear for their children's safety, that want police to come more timely, that want to just walk and enjoy their neighborhood.
And want to have a good school.
And want to have a good school. They've left.
And that has meant that teachers like Sherry Gay-Dagnogo see mostly students from poor homes whose parents themselves have a limited education.
It's disheartening because we know that everybody doesn't come from a perfect setting. Everybody doesn't have a support system in place that ensures their success.
Well, did you have parent-teacher conferences?
Oh, yes.
Were they well attended?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I don't know. I just wish that.
Go ahead.
But why aren't those parent-teacher conferences attended in that way? I mean, without going into that, you leaving it wide open as if, Those
Yeah,
parents don't care. Not that they work in one or two jobs just to make sure they can
exactly.
keep food in the house, keep a house, a roof over your head. I mean,
My mother had to work like 2 jobs because with welfare, how much they gonna give you? $300 a month?
and yeah, but you're
Crazy,
supposed to eat and live indoors on that.
crazy. Now the thing is that I want to go through some of it. This is a special we should load because it's going to show us some other stuff. But like I said, I did want my nephew to come on, but I guess he's doing something because he shows us recently. He tells the story. You know, where he grew up, they even restricted more money from all the schools during his time, and we remember that with Arnie Duncan. They taking Obama's man. All the black schools closed in Detroit. Like 60% of the schools that we had, more of them closed, and then in Chicago, more of them closed, and then Cleveland closed, and then they start concentrating these kids, and these kids start fighting more. My nephew got into more fights than I did, and I got into fights, trying to go home from school, fighting people and shit. You know what I'm saying? And this is what. Go ahead.
And that's the intent part that really, for lack of a better term, grinds my gears about it, because as if and Thurgood Marshall may have been in his own way thinking he was doing us a favor, but when you say it's not intentional, that still does not relieve the responsibility of correction. And
The correction. Well, what I mean is like I said, people can only do the best that they know, but it's just he's doing what he knows, and then the history. It's our job to go back there and see what he didn't know, because he only knows what he knows. But then when we go back there, a lot of stuff is declassified, whatever. So then we can go check it out. But
yeah.
Yeah, but let me see something here. I want to. This is a very good special. Now, see this trash. The Detroit Free Press is a white. I mean, that publication have been against every agenda of good that the city had going. Trash.
Sounds like the Atlanta Journal and Constipation instead
Exactly.
of Constitution.
These white medias. I mean, their job. They never highlight, and see what they do is they devalue the property too, because every time they report everything negative. They made it seem like Detroit was and so it's hard to attract money and investment to the city. Yeah, that's what they do. It's but
and that's why when we do have businesses, we need to keep them, Robert Johnson. I mean, look, I'm not trying to count your pockets or anything like that. I'm thinking about more than myself. You see what I'm saying? And you would think once a person does have those means, even if you don't want to continue, set it up where it can continue without you and keep it for us. Because I mean, BET now, what is that?
nothing. It's actually
I
against us. Viacom's. It's an enemy. It's an enemy.
yes,
It's an enemy.
I
But
can't even tell you the last time I looked at BET.
no, I won't look at that crap. But the thing is, though, that's a whole nother rock that hides a hand, because that's Viacom. And then there's a part, those are details that a lot of times we don't know, because it was a hostile takeover. And that's another thing, and we're right. There are sellout moves. It's not like we're always wrong when we criticize each other. So I'm not saying that, but a lot of times I try to give a little slack of the part, and the only slack that I give is the fact that I don't know what this person is actually dealing with, because I've never been there. You're the only black person that have a little spine in the position of a billionaire almost, whatever. And you got all of these white people threatening you. We don't know the level of threats, the seriousness of the threats, and the type of choices that people have to make at those levels. Now, I know with some of us though, we just sell out for no real reason because we can't run it. Like with the soap. I remember there's a soap, or there's a beauty supply. Black people had owned the beauty supply and sold it to black soap or something like that. Sold it to white, and I was like, "Why you sell it to white?" But they get tired. They get tired of fighting or whatever reason.
And
But
they want to cash out.
yeah, and they want to cash out. And the thing is, like I said before, I mean, I don't, I feel like I want to criticize, but it's like, anytime that we get something or do something, you best believe white people going back and studying. How did they get that? How did they do this without us being able to stop it? And then they shut down those ladders. They don't do stuff where you can repeat it. And this is what I've noticed. Like, for example, that's why they redraw a district, like what looking at the Obama thing. Now, of course, Obama didn't do nothing for us really. But there's a lot of white, but this
you might want to say he gave us a negative.
Well, no. See, the thing is this here, and this is what I'm gonna say here, and see, this is where we got to get a little more sophisticated to be able to. We got to be able to analyze certain stuff on fact and not just overall. Like, okay, so look, it's not about the individual. Some facts in history we can learn from that's not necessarily about the individual because they are maybe trash, like an Oprah or whatever, but we can learn about the process that they use. And we can probably repeat certain aspects of it. That's where I'm looking at with Obama. Now, keep in mind, it's not about him because he sold out. So, but what?
I mean,
hold on. Let me make this real quick statement, and I want to hear how you respond to it. Now, this is what I'm saying. Obama, what I feel that can be learned as far as a positive, as far as getting him elected, okay, is the way Black people organized. Not him. I'm not talking about him because he had a various intent. But I'm looking at the energy that Black America put into pushing him above Clinton. And I think that could be beneficial if we did that, not necessarily for a politician, because to me, any politician that we put in there, they're subject, because to me, also Obama, I don't know if you remember, there was a story where Michelle Obama plane almost crashed. You remember that?
I do not. That was prior to or after ascending to the presidency.
Obama had just got into office. He had just got into office, and they were pushing for, the Democrats had control. Obama had the money, he had the will of the people, and it was something to do with I guess Skip Gates' little thing was going on, but the bottom line is I could pull up the story a little later, but the point is Obama was pushing for something. He was pushing for some money or something. I forgot exactly what it was, but the bottom line is somebody didn't like that, and the Jews came and met with him. It was a time when they came and met with him because he was talking about talking to Iran, trying to reduce some tensions, and people didn't like it. And all of a sudden, there was a story, real quick story, talking about Michelle Obama and the children's plane. There was a jumbo jet, a military jumbo jet, had broke protocol and flew in front of their plane too close, and it caused them to lose like 10,000 feet of altitude, like within a few minutes, they almost died. But then the plane moved away, and then they was able to save it. And after that, Obama just started acting right. I was like, see, we don't,
Yeah.
and they didn't even circulate that story that much, but we
And,
don't know
you said this, so this happened after they were in office. I mean,
in office. I'm gonna pull up the story later, but I'm just saying, just to make the point real quick. Yeah, a lot of times, and especially by me reading this CIA thing with the Dulles brothers, and they murdered basically. Bottom line is this dude Allen Dulles, and I ain't gonna get into all of that but when you go into the Dulles brothers, the CIA, the business community, OSS, which is the secret organization that they use to
model.
model the CIA after, right before, because they used to work in the OSS right before they signed over to CIA. And what they started doing is coming up with all these dirty tricks. Their whole objective, they are business Wall Street employees. They are loyal to that. They're more loyal to all their business contacts and the people that they grew up with in Wall Street. It's not just about money. It's like these are them. They love these people. They are brothers. Okay, it's more than just money. It's like they have a family thing, an objective, and they have that kind of level of loyalty. So they put them in control of the CIA, and that is only about making sure that business get the businesses that are part of their Wall Street, whatever little club stuff, that they make sure that they get it, and they are the legitimized the weapon of the Chamber of Commerce. I guess I would say Chamber of Commerce, but the bottom line is they're legitimized weapon of that's what that CIA covert stuff is, spy stuff. And that's what they do. They mess up everybody who tries to anything that these people if you're not in their stuff, they'll blow your country up so they can make sure they run their pipelines through it. They will kill the leader just for business. This is all about companies so that American companies can go down there and take over the Guatemala banana trade. They will assassinate, take over the leadership so that the American companies can run the pineapple trade over there in Hawaii. It's all about business, bro.
What did Pompeo say?
Yeah,
we lie, cheat, and steal. We had taught that or something to that effect.
That's their thing. They are legitimized. That is what that's about. And so if Obama is getting in there, so Kennedy, he in there talking about, this other group of people, the secret government and all that stuff, and he about to mess them up. Top. They killed him. And then because he fired the director of the CIA.
Yeah.
Kennedy did. He fired him. Allen Dulles, which was an old Cold War, Russian dude. He fired him. That guy was so mad. Once Kennedy got killed, which was very quickly after that, somehow. And so the person who investigating the murder was the guy that he fired, Allen Dulles. And they named the airport. Yeah, they named the airport after him. So the guy that was mad at him documented his anger at Kennedy. He hated Kennedy. He thought Kennedy was stupid and all that. Kennedy fired him later, and then he's the one investigating the murder of John F. Kennedy. So you see how they shape history. This is what they do. There's another little clip that I was trying to find. I can't show it, but the point is, the thing is, we just need to see this stuff. We got to increase our ability to see this stuff, and because they're gonna use their media to tell you don't know what you're talking about. Of course, that's the first thing they're gonna do. If you fall for it,
well, I mean, that's what disinformation is for. I mean, that video that you know wanted us to review from earlier, when John Stockwell was being interviewed, he was talking about disinformation in the 80s and the government putting it out.
Exactly.
And so there's no the CIA does not have scruples.
No, well, see,
So
and that's the problem. Yeah, yep. Go ahead. And then, did you remember he was talking about how they control media?
yes,
See,
and how the weapons trade is the biggest business going.
it's business, and you know, and so the thing is, and all that tell it's not that we can't beat this, okay? But I just
But
want
first we have to know it, you know.
we got to know what, and we got to have enough population to understand when you start running your stuff yourself, and you not in a club. First of all, only a few of your faces can be in their club, and those faces are there only to trick you because they don't have enough power to dominate us like they used to do. So that also tells us about our power. We could actually defend our own areas, but if they could still disinformation us and make us, we mess
Fall,
ourselves in the foot.
make us fall for the okie doke with the signs that say we buy ugly houses and then we go and sell it to them.
Exactly. And they still do. They come in and scam us. We got scammed. We got scammed in Detroit. They scam us and everything. Let's go through a little bit more of this here. There's a certain part I want to get to, but I want to give a little context. Okay, is this it? Okay, now this is the school that I went to, Henry Ford High School. That's my school right there. That's my high school.
Nice.
High school. And you know, they talking about my school now.
With a school with that name in that area,
Yeah.
everyone, white, black or white, coming out of there should know how to build a car and
Right.
fix a car.
Right. But they don't.
No. I mean, it should have been an immediate pipeline to working at Ford. I mean, hello.
Right, but we did. That's kind of, yeah, it kind of was because they did train us. We went down there to the Ford Motor headquarters. We toured the headquarters, the facilities, the engineers taught us how they sabotage the cars. There's another hide in your rock, hide in your hand. Black engineer told me, black engineer. He's the man. This is the man that helped design the new Mustang. Like, you remember the old style of Mustangs, like the 5.0s and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think in like 94 and stuff, they start coming out with a new style. And
yes,
yeah, he did. This is a black man. Anyway, he was telling us, oh yeah, we know when that car's gonna break down. We know we use this material. We know that how many times over the average of 3 years you're gonna roll up that window, roll it down, roll it up, roll it down.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna break first. This is gonna break second. You're gonna come in. Oh, God damn. He showed us stuff.
Bro, it's called planned obsolescence, where they already know or they have made a product so it does not last, does not benefit the consumer as much as it could, because they want you to come back and spend more money versus being able to build wealth and put yourself in a position where you can be on top, if that's what we want to say, you know.
And see, that's what I mean. This is what we got. I like what you said, be on top. We got to understand being on top from our position, we're not going to have the same level of resources as these people. But anytime you accept their money with their conditions, hold on, he put something here. They're going to put conditions on their money. Okay, before they give you their money, you got to agree to their positions. They used to always blame Kwame Kilpatrick. Remember him, right? You know him.
Oh, yes.
Now, he was a good mayor, though. That's the reason why people stick up for people. This is why, just like with in DC,
Marion Bear.
Yeah, he smoked crack. Yeah, that's true. So
What
that was,
when the jail came out, got reelected.
yeah, and the reason why though, that's why the people on the outside don't understand is that these people who buck this system of not giving black peoples nothing and giving white people all the contracts and not giving black businesses the contracts, they are the enemy of the white media. Now, all of these guys in politics do some sick, evil drug stuff. You know, DC is famous for prostitution, you know, all of that stuff, drugs. We seen down there in Florida, what's your dude? He ran
DeSantis.
DeSantis.
Oh, I want to say Gilbride. That's not it, but it begins with the G. It's escaping me right now.
That dude, whatever this is, Gil, anyway, whatever.
Gillibrand.
No, it's not that, but yeah, I know what you're talking about. I can't remember his name.
It'll come to us.
Yeah. The Florida, he was mayor of Tallahassee. You didn't hear nothing about him, right? That ain't the first time that man was smoking some kind of meth
and having a foray with a white boy.
That ain't the first time that happened, but that's the first time we heard about it.
Yeah.
Why? Because high level politics. You see, when you go against the system, they already know what you're doing. They're gonna pull that card out on you. And so that's what we get
when it benefits them the most.
And that's what we need to understand. If you get somebody that's not a sellout to black people, you should expect to hear the worst of these people.
But hold on, in his particular instance, because that didn't come out soon,
right?
That lets you know they already part of the plan, even with Obama, because
right.
What you brought up happened after election. Dude, I had problems before he was elected the first time. I was done then. Let me ask you this question while you're pulling it up. When you heard a black person was running for president then, and I mean, I wasn't as politically astute then, but I am more now. But when you heard the name Barack Obama, did you already know who that was?
No, I didn't.
Neither did I. I was in Pennsylvania working on the road, and when I heard a black person was running for president and found out who it was, the next question was, well, who is that? Not that I know every black person see the shine to see or nothing like that, but you would think that someone from our community, like I knew who Jesse Jackson was, and when he ran, he was probably in his 40s.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't even a teenager yet, but I knew who that was.
Right.
Not that I was for it or against her. I at least recognized who that was.
Right.
Whereas out the blue, what is it, Barack Obama? I mean,
yeah.
And then to hear comments,
but at the same time, I knew people that did know him.
Okay.
So he did come from somewhere. So they had him. Yeah. He was hanging around. But the thing is, though, and with the book and everything, but they had to test him because before they allowed him to even get this close, they had a history on him. They knew he loved white people. He was raised by a mama. He loved his white mama. They'd already tested him, but he really wasn't in a club, but he was they do psychological profiles. So they knew they could break him easy. And so
bro, he was already broken. Presidents are elected. They are selected. They already know who they're gonna allow to sit there.
That's true, but the thing is, nowadays, what I'm asking a lot of us to start thinking about here is this day. We have the ability to highlight these days because we're not yeah, we got access to tools a little bit more than we had, and we can get them. That's why they have to hide from us. See, this is what I need us to understand as well. You know, just because we don't know our power, don't mean they don't know our power. The ability to expose, okay, this is their power. And see, this is real hard. That's why I always show this meme right here. I love showing this meme because a lot of us don't understand. This is their greatest power. It's not a gun. It's not threatening you. It's not threatening us, because the thing is, it's just like, I don't know, you got whoopings when you grow up.
Oh, absolutely. Corporal
Right.
punishment was in order. It
Exactly.
still is
Exactly.
in my household.
Exactly. So the thing is, though, the point is to that is this. You know, when you get a spanking one or two times, yeah, that's a big deal. You like, oh shit, I'm really must have did something bad. But the thing is, if somebody's always, I don't know if you got to a situation where you was getting a butt whooping a lot, it's like it becomes like, okay, well, oh well, you know, you plan on it. Well, I'm gonna get a whooping, but you know, this, I'm still get this done. So it becomes, so their ability, the beating, even killing you, it desensitizes the population. Like these kids now, they're like run up, they don't care, like whatever, they'll get killed. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But the thing is, that's not the white man's objective. If he can't control you by fear, he's like, okay, we gotta, because his objective is to control you. It's not to just, yeah, he don't want to just kill you. He wish he could just kill all of you, but he can't do that. He wish he could. His objective is to get you to do what he needs you to do.
And that's why Bill Gates and all the rest of them are pissed that we are not going along with, quote, their program. You know what I mean?
And we'll touch base on that after YouTube. But yeah, we're gonna touch base on that on YouTube Wednesday on Facebook. I got Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter, I think. Yeah. I want somebody to call in and bring your documents. But yeah, the thing is here with this here, they get to tell us what to believe, and we sit up there and believe it and do it and fight each other. So if Bob Johnson didn't sell that BET and they start running all that negative press on him, then who the people that he need to support him? See, like, you got to realize, Black people, we can literally survive on our own support. We don't need no other community. We really can.
We've done it before.
Yeah, we really can. Our businesses and stuff, we can survive just us. We don't need no Chinese money. We don't need no white money. Just us. But will we do that? You know, that's the issue. And this is their greatest power.
And when it comes time, will we fight when it's necessary? And fight does not always mean hand to hand or bullets or any of that.
Exactly.
Using Robert Johnson as another example, I mean, okay, so he felt pressure to sell. Well, you know, combat their negative media. You have a whole station and media conglomerate as well. Use that to your advantage, the same way they are doing. But with him,
that's true, and he could have, but you got to be built like that.
Yes,
you got to be built like that, and that was the issue. That's why I'm talking about the psychological profile of Obama, because I could be persuaded to believe, based on prior to Obama's actual election to president, he would get resources sometimes for Black folks, sometimes, but he was still loyal to the white people, and that we have that on record. Well, when he was, because he only was a senator over there in Illinois, like a year, 4 years, or whatever.
Do you know how he got that position?
Well, yeah, because the dude, what's his name? That the dude, it was another guy that vouched for him, and plus he's
Yeah,
vote for white people downstate
and,
vote.
and he challenged the ability of his opponent, who was the incumbent, their ability to run.
Right.
I mean, and there was a third person, and I forget why she bowed out, but you know, when you are elected to a position with no opposition,
Right.
and you sabotage it, and that is currently taking place in Atlanta, involving our skin folk
That's right.
at each other. I mean, when you, to me, he attached himself to the system more than he was chosen to be a part of it, and to me, that means that you were always on board with the enemy.
Well, the thing is, see, that's why I would ask us to think about too. When we analyze people and their situations, I mean, we got to understand these are human beings. How were these people created? How were they formed? Okay. Obama was set up before he was even born. Okay. They have about 1,000 or a few bunch of kids that they're grooming for
Yes.
leadership. So this is what we got to understand, because when we understand this process, then we can start. When you understand a process, you can start throwing monkey wrenches in that process. That's how they do us. They plan decades in advance to set us up. Okay. So when we start recognizing this stuff, if we get a significant number of people that recognize this kind of stuff, then we can start frustrating that process. We'll start having the urgency when it's necessary to fight, when it's time to do a resistance. And that was the point that I was making. See, the thing is, if they can get us to stop supporting somebody who is doing something for us, just because, let's say, this individual is wrong on these particular issues, or this history, they have this bad thing that they did, or maybe they made this mistake or whatever. But I can get all y'all to turn against this person, and now that way I stop the objective. Like Kwame Kilpatrick, what he was doing, he number one, he set it up so people could start building up Detroit, because there were so many abandoned buildings. It cost a lot of money to tear them down. He also started taxing all of those cigarettes. He started taxing Burger King and McDonald's, all of these fast food places that were on. See, what they did is they took out all, and he noticed that they took out all of the good food, grocery stores and stuff like that, but then they put McDonald's, Burger King, which
dollar stores.
Yeah, that blew up all of the sicknesses in the city. So Kilpatrick, he taxed them. He taxed those places, and he balanced the budget. And then he started fixing up places. Then all the negative stuff started coming out about him. Oh, he got an earring in his ear. Oh, he says, they was like, what is he doing? What else did he do? Oh, he was cheating on his wife. Yeah, he was cheating on his wife. Oh, what else?
Stripper parties.
Stripper parties that he could have perhaps been responsible for, maybe, a murder that happened there. And it's all kind of innuendo. Oh, what happened? Oh, he gave his friend private contracts. Whoa, was this just because this was his friend? Did his friend have the licenses? Well, yeah, his friend had the licenses. Okay, was his friend had a company? Well, yeah, his friend had a company. Okay, well, I mean, did his friend do a good job? Yeah, his friend did a good job, but it's his friend. He didn't give it to the white people. See, those were building contracts. See, and this is what black folks don't get this. When you start, this is what they do in Atlanta, and I know this for a fact because when I was coming through the apprenticeship program with electricians, and we start doing contracting, these people grow up with each other. These companies, so they grow, the union people and the non-union, and they start growing up. They fast track their people to get contracts. They set up laws and stuff so that, for you to get a contractor's license, or stuff like that. So you can start bidding for business and running business and getting contracts and city contracts and gas stations and stuff like that. For you to be a contractor, a licensed contractor, you have to have 2 signatures from an existing licensed contractor. So you're going to compete against these people. They get to sign you in, otherwise you can't get a contractor's license. And they can be like, "Oh, you black? We don't. You're not in our club. We're not going to sign for you.
Yeah.
You're not in our club. Are you going to do this ritual, ride the goat ritual? What is that? Yeah, you got to put a blindfold on, and we're going to do some stuff. You got to be okay with it." What?
No, yeah. Why is that part of business? That has nothing to do with my idea to make money.
That's how they said it. Okay, well, we ain't gonna sign for you. We ain't gonna sign for you. That's how it's gonna work. You ain't gonna get your business. You see, this is the kind of stuff that we don't see. A lot of us don't see it because we're not interested in going into that level of business. And this is why a lot of us, and we start, well, black people, we ain't got no businesses, we can't do nothing. You need to get your paperwork right, but
the people, too many times though, the people whose paperwork are quote right have signed on the dotted line and performed the ritual. I mean, and look, and are picked out at an early age. Kasim Reed, who became mayor here, he knew Arthur Blank when he was very young.
See,
there's a story. Yeah, the owner of the Falcons.
I know. Yep. Mm-hmm. Just to highlight that point real quick, because every city, every major municipality has a big white philanthropist businessman who's always doing, like in Michigan. I forgot it was the guy, the owner of the Little Caesar. He owned part of the Detroit the Tigers stadium.
Detroit. Okay.
What's this guy?
What'd you say? Every town
has
their own.
Yeah, Mike Ilitch. That was the white man in the Michigan area. Mike Ilitch.
They have their own Lex Luthor.
Yes. They do. See, this is what we ain't getting. But you see this here, this story. I'm just going to just highlight just for this record. Michelle Obama, 2011. She had a close call. Her plane missed colliding with a military cargo jet by a distance that was too close for comfort, the National Transportation Safety Board announced. Michelle Obama was in a plane with Dr. Jill Biden, the wife of Vice President Joe Biden, heading towards Andrews Air Base outside of Washington when it came within 2.94 miles of a military plane. Okay, that was a close call, and the thing is, it came within the mile. But what ends up happening, it sounds like a safe distance. However, federal relations. All right, but it was in front of her plane. So the 200-ton C-17 military plane. This is orders. These military people. You see how we know that this ain't just no glitch. Okay, this is the first lady's plane. They know where her plane is.
And you said that happened in 2011. What month again?
2011. Yeah, you can check and see what was happening in April. This is the 2011. When did Obama get in there in 2008?
Oh, 8. Yeah. So this is around re-election time. I mean,
2 years. This is when for the Congress part.
Yeah.
This is like the middle. This is right now, like around now, back in 2000. Damn. So they was arguing over some kind of bill at this time. They were really hitting it hard. The little Democrats had a little bit more control at this point. And they were like, okay, we need this done. We need this vote, yada, yada. And it was something that I know black folks was believing. It was about some money. It was about some money. I guarantee you that. It was,
that didn't that no doubt didn't make it to our side of the tracks.
but it was about another bailout for Congress or something. No, Wall Street, because when he first got in, when Bush left, he gave Wall Street a bailout. Keep in mind, who was the money going to?
I mean,
And
dude,
then
I remember that. I remember that press conference, and Bush stood up there with Paulson and explained why they needed $700 billion with
Exactly.
one sheet of paper
Exactly.
in their hands. Like, this is the proof
why?
right here.
You know why? You know why it was so urgent? You know why that was so urgent before Bush left? Because once they realized Obama was going to get in there, because they couldn't really stop him, but they knew he was going. They could get him, but see, you got to realize, that's why I'm saying you got to be able to analyze these people, because you'll think that they just got all sorts of power and all that kind of thing if you just look at it from what they get accomplished. But when you see how they really work, and then you can start seeing some of their mistakes. They did not know. They felt that they known. They tested Obama prior, but he still came up around people in a way where they were not so sure that what he would do, and they would probably have to kill him. Yes, they did. They probably had to kill him.
They weren't sure after he dropped Reverend Wright like a bad habit.
No, because
they weren't sure then.
No, they wasn't sure. See, this is what we don't get, because just because he do something on, it's like if you look at the Haitian Revolution and War,
okay,
like with what's his name, Dessalines. Dessalines would always have to tell the people that he was fighting with, the Haitian people, you're gonna see me agree with them all the time. You're gonna see me smile and shake some of their hands. Don't mean nothing. You see, don't mean that's for the show. So don't get confused. But so they don't really know. But they believe, and they do those tests, dropping Reverend Wright. Okay, he passed that. That's still not, some of them are not like, we don't know. I want this assurance. We need our money now, because once he gets in there, he might set up here and sacrifice himself. He might go kamikaze. We don't really know, because he's real smart and real slick, chick, and tricky. So
look, I was sure. I was very sure. Remember when the Pope came here, and I think it was an Italian reporter asked the Pope, well, what about the Negroes?
Right.
Obama shut the entire press conference down immediately.
Right. But you got to realize something too. I'm going to tell you something. And see, the thing is, this is the problem where I have when I highlight stuff, people think, oh, you caping for them. See, that's what I need us to get out of. We need to understand, like, okay, these are humans. Okay. They ain't all that. They can do 99% evil. But if they do this little 1% good, you gotta have the character to say, okay, that don't mean you caping for them, but you can't lie and say, okay, this didn't happen. You see what I'm saying? That's the only thing I'm getting us to understand. That's still your enemy, right? But we got to say, okay, this was, so we can analyze situations, and then we can say, okay, here is the based upon the information, this is the best that we understand. This is why they didn't like him. Those views, Obama didn't perform like they wanted him to perform. You see what I'm saying? With them,
is that why he got that black out playing basketball?
It could be. I don't know. He didn't perform like they wanted him to perform right away like that. And I don't know why. I ain't gonna say I know why. I could come up with reasons, but it ain't because he all good. But what I'm saying is they had to threaten him. They had to threaten him. He didn't just willy-nilly jump on that stuff right away like that. And if we pretend like he did, then we're not really being honest with the history, because we're not looking at it. We can see that he did what they did. He capitulated. He capitulate right now. They probably They probably didn't bust them out in the behind in the beginning. You don't know. I don't know.
Okay. Let's go back to the I won speech, and I think this will forever be with me. He when he spoke, I think he had on a red top, and Michelle had on the red dress. When he stood up there and spoke about, all the groups in America, when it got to us,
right?
He said, "And to those who felt the lash of the whip." Now, and this is part of why we do need to know about the past. When you know your history, we have done more than just get whooped while we were here, and for that to be the his chosen seminal moment for us, let me know early on that he's in their bag, not ours.
That's right.
And dude, that's why we have to, and hopefully no one takes any joy out of calling our own out, because there is no joy there. I want them to for lack of a better term, conform to us. Put us first. Just like Tangi. I don't know what I can't answer that. But you can turn pedophiles loose. But when we come before you, when Lockheed Martin is already agreeing to pay the $22 million, us can't be against us and stop us from getting our portion.
Exactly. Let me go. Let me welcome Divide. What's going on, sis? Hey, she's in the chat. Peace to her. Yeah, you a mod, right, Leroy?
Yes, sir.
On YouTube.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because I gotta make sure y'all. All right, so but let me get a little bit more. I want to go through this little milking thing because, like I said, we can do a whole show on this. I want to finish this little milking thing off because this shows something for the entire country. It's just showing, a little. It's just so much, man. So much.
Oh, the hole is deep.
It's a lot. It is so much. We can't really get it like we need to get it. We need a few more people because some of this stuff is something else. All right, but I want us to listen to some of this here.
Picture two communities. They share a grocery store and maybe a main street. People living just blocks or a couple miles apart. But for their kids who go to different schools, they are a world apart. On one side of the line, you have fresh paint and new computer labs. On the other, many fewer resources and many more students of color. Now, these boundaries show a country where schools remain segregated and unequal. And a big factor in that is a Supreme Court decision that came down 45 years ago today. NPR's Alyssa Nadworny visited Long Island, New York. She has this story.
Often called the first modern suburb in America, Long Island stretches out from New York City, north and east toward the sea, water on both sides. In the middle, it's one of the most racially and economically segregated places in the country. Case in point, two neighboring towns, Hempstead and Garden City.
I'll just turn down Front Street here.
Elaine Gross, who runs a local nonprofit called Erase Racism, is driving me back and forth between the two communities.
You know immediately that on this one street, you've left Garden City and now you're in Hempstead.
Behind us, big houses, a country club. In front of us, a commercial strip with a laundromat and an auto repair shop.
The schools, they mirror the residential segregation.
Hempstead's public schools are only 2% white, while Garden City schools are almost 88% white. The difference in funding is also stark. Hempstead gets almost $5,000 less per student per year.
There are kids who see this every day.
That's Rebecca Sibilia, the founder and CEO of EdBuild, a nonprofit out with a new report today on school segregation and funding inequities.
Kids are living sometimes across the street from their neighbors who are going to whiter and wealthier schools.
This inequality, it's happening all over the country, not just Long Island. According to EdBuild's massive database, there are nearly 1,000 school districts that have substantial race and revenue gaps with their neighbors. And the whiter, wealthier sides of those lines, they're also getting more money. On average, about $4,000 more per student per year. EdBuild estimates about 8.9 million students go to school in the districts on the losing side of those borders. That's about 1 in 5 public school students. The fact that schools can look so different just across district lines, Sibylia says,
that's all thanks to Milliken.
Milliken. She's referring to the Supreme Court decision in Milliken v. Bradley, a decision that came down 45 years ago today. The case centered around a desegregation plan in Detroit, a predominantly Black city, and its white suburbs. Up for debate, would neighboring districts have to integrate across district lines? No, the court found. Borders couldn't be crossed.
The court today takes a giant step backwards.
That's Thurgood Marshall, the lone African-American justice on the court in 1974 in his dissent. The majority decision had said that the white suburbs had played no role in the creation of the segregated schools in Detroit, and therefore they didn't have to assist in the plan to integrate. Marshall, who 2 decades before had argued Brown v. Board as an NAACP lawyer, predicted that the decision would make integration nearly impossible. Here's audio from oye.org.
Under such a plan, white and Negro students will not go to school together. Instead, Negro children will continue to attend all Negro schools. The very evil that Brown was aimed at will not be cured, but will be perpetuated.
In the North, racist housing policies had made where you live largely a reflection of your race. So after Milliken, if white families didn't want to send their children to schools with kids of other races, they could simply move to white communities with different school districts, often just a mile or so down the road.
Milliken has basically created the school district border as a fundamental tool to further fracture society.
Sibylia of EdBuild says after the decision, borders became shields, warding off desegregation.
Once you're in your own school system, once you have a border anywhere, then the courts have no justification and no jurisdiction to order desegregation across that line.
And because school funding is largely tied to local wealth, like property taxes, these invisible yet powerful district lines also create unequally resourced schools. In most places, states have not been able to make up the difference in that local money, despite decades of funding formulas designed to do just that. Take Hempstead and Garden City in Long Island. The state of New York does give more money to Hempstead, but it's not enough to make it equal to its neighbors. EdBuild found these divisive school borders are most prevalent in the North.
What Long Island shows us is how Milliken has been used to reinforce all of these negative and detrimental policies of the past. And what I'm talking to specifically here is housing segregation.
We are now in Garden City again.
As we continue our drive, Elaine.
So let's welcome the Vibe, sis. What's going on, sis? Appreciate you coming up, adding your ideas to the panel. And what's y'all reaction to some of that?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, awesome. My microphone is. How are you, Mike? Long time.
Yeah, haven't heard from you in a little while.
Oh, no, I don't know. I try and look out for you, but I don't think I'm getting notifications.
Oh, really? Yeah, they probably don't like me because I'm always
on the edge.
Yeah, we always talk about some conspiracy stuff over here. We ain't arguing. We're not trying to go into
drama.
Well, we go into drama, but with the right people.
Yeah.
That's how we do it. What's up? What's going on?
Hey, everything's fine, man. I've been to the river, to La Playa. I was just at Boca Chica. Pretty cool. Yeah.
You've been traveling.
No. No, I live in the DR.
Oh, okay. In Dominican Republic?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So that's cool. So how's the situation there as far as any ideas or situations where you can see, because actually, you know what, where I guess systematic systems have kind of thrown a rock in the past and created an unequal situation that we probably wouldn't be aware of here?
What do you mean?
Well, like, for example, that's kind of what we getting at with the hide your hand model. It's like it's a systematic situation where it's probably 10, 20, 30 years prior to today, maybe a historic move, for example, a war or some sort of defunding or some sort of
How
right.
about separating DR from Haiti? Are they right next to each other, or is that Trinidad?
Yeah,
No,
it's
that's
the same island.
DR is its own island.
No, they're the same. They share land. They share the same island.
Okay. Yeah, see, like I said, you got to educate us on that because that's why we have people up because it's
it's the same island, but it's two different people.
It's divided.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's kind of your name there.
That's why I'm so corny.
Nah, you're not corny.
Not even. You drawing attention to what might not be obvious to some.
Right.
Yeah, it used to be one. It used to be like one nation, Quisqueya, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the Europeans came, it turned into Hispaniola, and then they divided themselves. But I swear to God, there's more Haitians over here than probably in Haiti.
Exactly.
Wow.
You see them. They're coming back because was it a couple months ago when Biden shipped a lot of them? He took them back to Haiti. And so that messed up their entire journey. But I think because they're trying to bring the Ukrainians in.
Yes, to bolster their numbers.
Right. What they're
like we need more racists, right?
Right.
Hey, you know what? That's exactly who they're bringing in. I mean, there's some information out there that states that the tiki torch carriers in Charlottesville, those were Ukrainians.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, but the thing is, go ahead, keep going.
I mean, they'll bring them in to play us both ways. It's going to get us riled up because they are racist, but also put the pressure on us to act against their plot. And we should, but we have to understand that it's a plot. You know what I'm saying? We have to know that they are up to no good when we see these moves.
Right. But you see that there's a little symbol right there on this girl's uniform.
The black sun.
Yeah. I don't know if people can see that. It's kind of kind of camouflaged in there. It's right on her chest. It's like a little almost like a little you've seen those little symbols where you got like a maze. Yeah. Y'all can look that up. Just kind of do your own research on that. That's part of it.
Or the Buffalo shooter, Patrick Gendron, he was wearing the same symbol.
Yeah, that's the symbol there. And these folks they really communicate in symbology, and it's something for us to know. And that's what I mean by like hide your hand. They'll do something and it'll seem insignificant to us at that time, but we'll feel the results of it 20, 30 years later, just like with the Haitian thing. The people in Haiti, they got their independence or whatever, but why can't they stay on their own island? You know what I mean?
Look, and they owe France reparations.
Yeah,
how does that work?
Right, and how come they can't get resources to make their island a nice paradise for everybody to visit? See, these are the questions. Like that's kind of the same model like we was talking about with the Detroit thing. It's like, okay, you took your little space where y'all live, but we're gonna make it real hard for you to create business.
Yes. Yes. and we'll come in there and make money off of you and give you pennies on the dollar. I mean, whether it's the bauxite in Haiti or the cobalt in the Democratic Republic of Congo, they're cobalt is used to make these batteries for the electric cars they want everyone to buy so they can control us. But companies shop with the children who go in these dangerous conditions just to make a dollar when that's not market rate. It's obvious that's not market rate. But they won't give them what they are owed or deserved, and that's a Chinese operation. But ultimately, they
Like over here, do you know there are so many Chineses over here? There's so many Chinese people over here. They, of course, they're like with all the textiles, the fabrics and, um, it's kind of like, how can I explain it? The crap they sell, like, electronics, little knickknacks and whatever. Like they have downtown on lock. They have a Chinatown here. But let me tell you what, you see them during the day during business hours, but once they close their shop up, you don't see them. Like no one knows where they live. No one knows where they hang out. It's such a mystery. Like, because I asked my husband, he's a Dominican. I'm like, where do they live? Where do they be at? He's like, I don't know. And then there's tons of Russians here. They own the car washes and stuff like that. I just thought that was very interesting, seeing how how it is in China. I'm
Yep.
sorry, I'm sorry. You see how it is in China. They go to all these different countries because they're in Latin America. They're in all these different weird places, but they don't like try to be a part of the society or community in any way. You know what I'm saying? And also I wanted to say, do you think that the diaspora, that we're going through this because of our lack of spirituality? Do you think that we might have to like get back to our own like natural religions or spiritual systems? Am I asking that right?
I think I understand where you're going with that. I would say that's part of it. To me, just my take on your question, which is a good question, I think, is that, and this is, I always show a couple of the same memes because I feel that they're foundational. Okay, whatever spiritual system that we practice, we need to understand that it is ours. So we shouldn't be looking at this as a deity. You see what I'm saying? And I put this out here with the weed man. I would never show him in the good way because you shouldn't look at
It's a joke.
this is
yes,
not Jesus. And
he did not look like that.
right, anybody who's offended by this, that's a good thing because we need to show like this.
Brother Mike,
Right.
do you know about Ethiopia? How they have is it the Holy Grail or something?
The Ark of
The
the
Yeah,
ark,
Covenant.
the Ark of the
yeah, the
Covenant.
ark,
Sorry,
yeah.
my bad. And I almost cried when I saw this documentary. They, all those paintings, all those ancient paintings and stuff like that with the prophets and Jesus and all that with their afros. They have taken them down and replaced them with white Jesus and white apostles and disciples.
In Ethiopia.
All up in Africa.
In Ethiopia.
Yes.
And that, you know what, and that's why
No,
it is so disgusting to hear.
I gotta look into that because I talked to some Ethiopian people. Now that's probably why there's a fight there. Okay, now I understand it now because there's a battle there in Ethiopia right now with between people. I guess Timor or Tabor, something like that.
Oh,
There's huh?
Tigraine?
Tigraine, yeah. There's a battle there because the Tigraine Ukrainian people, and I've talked to some of them on Twitter, and yeah, they're saying how they're black and they are this is what they believe in. They're telling me about their religion and the woman she she went to her history and I got it on recording, but I mean, we're not going to go through that part now. But the point is, when we worship, okay, see, look, okay, it's like this. So the Ethiopian thing, it got split up back in what, the 3rd century. Okay, so the Ethiopian Coptic Orthodox Church split from the Roman version of Christianity. Y'all know that, right?
No.
I thought the Ethiopians were first, like they were the first Jews, the first.
Yeah. I mean, they built their churches underground.
Yeah, I thought that the Ethiopians were they're the oldest Christian.
Well, this is how it is. This is how, well, the basic timeline. And like I said, I get this from having conversations with many Ethiopian Christians. They are Orthodox Christians. They're in Atlanta. They're out there over there. You ever been to Desta restaurant? Desta. Okay, there's a Coptic church over there. I got several friends there, and I talked to them. So anyway. But the point is this: basic timeline is this. Okay, they have Menelik and the Queen of Sheba. So that's their thing. So the Queen of Sheba with Solomon. So that is their spiritual system. So that's before the word Christian happened. Okay. So they have their timeline. They got the timeline of each king, each ruler. Okay. So they have the lineage, each one. So you can't say they lying. they have each one of them. So they know way before Jesus. Okay. So this is over 3,000 years ago. They got each one of them, from the Queen of Sheba, and I think the guy's name is Menelik. So they got all of that lineage. They got all those records. They control that. Okay. So they used to be, when the Christian stuff started becoming into play, Jesus was doing his thing over there in the mid what they call Palestine and Nazareth and all of that stuff. They have those records. Okay. So this is the problem. This is the reason why Rome, which is Italian, they wanted to take over those places, because they got to conquer those places so they can burn those libraries. I don't know if y'all recognize that pattern. When they take over your place, they burn your library. They steal your stuff, burn your library.
Everything.
Yeah, they steal your stuff, burn your libraries, so your kids are stupid, and then they lie to your kids for generations, and everybody's confused. But they were not able to do that with people in Ethiopia, so they have all their records there. They don't let nobody there. Like you said, they got those castles built, and they got monks that live there, and they watch it, all that stuff. And so they know what they're talking about as far as that. Now, what ends up happening is they argue about the canon of the Bible, right? Of the sacred text. This is during when Constantine, you know him, right? Y'all know Constantine.
Oh yeah, Council of Nicaea.
Yeah, all that stuff. So those councils, they were arguing about the religion. They're battling like, okay, this is the word of God. No, yada yada. We shouldn't let them, So they're arguing. The white people wanted their way, the Romans. That's what we got. So they got that cross, and that's the image. But they didn't have this image yet. But they had that cross, and that's what they used to lie to people. They took certain books out, all that kind of thing. The Ethiopian, the Coptics, they kept it, and they have their Orthodox church. So their Bible is different. They got more books in it, and they memorize it by heart in their language.
Yes.
Yeah, Amharic, and these are Semitic languages. And
real Semites.
Right. They memorize it. Like, I was talking to one of my friends, and he couldn't even tell me the verse. He was like, hold on. He had to sing it. He's like, okay, I got it now. He has to sing it. He just remember it. Yeah, he can't just remember it off the top because they sing it from babies, and then they can remember the whole book like
It's
that.
like singing your ABCs,
Right,
but biblically.
the whole thing. They sing the whole thing, and they do that. That's their thing. So that's how they know, and that's how we know they know. So what happens is if you follow the Roman version, you're getting your talking points, you're getting your thoughts and your the way it should be practiced, and all of your cardinal ideas of the system of spirituality from the Romans, which are the conquerors, these people, then you're going to end up worshiping this, and you're going to fight for this, and you're going to be offended if somebody say anything about this yet, because this is how they think. This is how they're going to conquer your mind, right? But if you get it, if the which is the same spiritual system, but if the black people run it the way it should be ran, you're not going to fall for those jokes. Okay, and that's the issue. These are Christians right here. They're Christian. But the way if you just take that word and just follow it the way that they done taught you to follow it, and that's the problem. So when you say, do we got to worship our own spiritual system? We don't have to change the name of what we're doing, but we just got to understand it's like they don't control it. You know what I mean? Like we teach it in a way that edifies ourselves in the righteous way and based on for truth. They don't necessarily, I mean, I guess some you don't want to call yourself a devil worshiper or nothing like that, but I guess I wouldn't say there's so many good, righteous spiritual systems, and they are actually all emanate from when you start doing the history on them. There's no need for us to be arguing. It's like they want us to argue over stuff that when you start doing the history, it's no real argument. People can call themselves a Fulani. Let's say you're African or something. You can call yourself Fulani. You can call yourself a Hausa, or you can call yourself a Zulu. But if y'all kids want to get married, y'all can just get married. It's no need. Y'all don't have to change and stop calling yourself a Hausa. That's your history. You know what I mean? And that's the part that I think that's important for us. We don't have to really be trying to argue over religion. To me, I mean, we can debate over religion. I don't have a problem with that, but sometimes we be taking it too far, start hating each other and stuff.
You know who really takes it far? The people who currently occupy the land, because they won't let but so many Ethiopians in, and the ones they have in, they're trying to either sterilize or push out.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. And that's the thing. And even and that's also it's the religious, it's your spiritual system, but that right there also translates, and I can tie that into what we're doing here too, just like a media.
Saturday to gather supplies for a cookout.
So like with a media, when white folks end up controlling the media, and when I say white folks, it's not just that their skin is white, okay?
It's the mindset.
Right. They have a certain objective, and this is what they hide from us, and it's hard for us to understand once we even get it. I'm just gonna show this real quick. This is how crazy these folks is. That's a human leather coat. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Disgusting.
Anyway. Yeah.
I mean, who?
But yeah, who does that?
Freddy Krueger.
Satan.
I mean, yeah, no doubt.
See, so steal, kill, and destroy, right?
I mean, but to make a jacket, what is this? Hannibal Lecter?
But we gotta. That's what I mean, guys. Like, we gotta understand that this is a group of people. It's not, it's not necessarily a supernatural thing like Hellboy that we see on the movies. These are
no, but they do pledge to.
Yes, they pledge to that.
Yeah. I
But
mean,
we have,
do we have to bring up adrenochrome?
yeah, you see, yeah, you see this, and I try not to get. And another thing too, some of us who study this stuff, when we start talking about this stuff, if we it be true what we saying, but when somebody ain't heard of this stuff, you start going into what adrenochrome is. It's so horrible stuff. People do not believe you. That's the reason
Oh
why.
yeah, because it's so shocking.
Yeah, that's why I would just pepper that in, just for people. This is very expensive. Human.
Wow. Well, I mean, shouldn't it be? It cost somebody their life, or
Faces.
disgusting, man.
Those were faces. Each one of those were faces.
Yep.
So yeah.
So Freddy Krueger looks like Freddy Krueger's chest when he take off the sweater.
Yep.
Disgusting.
But the thing is, to her question though, it's like we got to control things our way, and we got to understand that we can't look at them as the authority, and that's our problem because they've been the authority. They've been the legitimizer of the statistics for us. They've been the authority on everything. We trust their science. We trust their mathematics. We trust their school. You know how they could their certification processes. Okay, so when they take the school, what did they do in Atlanta? They took the school charter. What did they do with the school?
Accreditation. You talking about in Clayton County?
Accreditation processes.
Yeah.
This is a legitimate school. We accredited.
Yes.
Okay? So
yeah, a whole county.
Exactly. All of those teachers, they graduated. They're smart, but we decided not to accreditate them. And
So
now,
the children that graduate from those schools, even though they graduate, I guess they're saying without saying, well, your diploma ain't worth the paper it's printed on, which is ridiculous.
Who gets to pick winners and losers? This is where we got to get enough of us to understand, like, we can accreditate our own people. And blah blah, that old hotep shit. I don't got time for that hotep shit. You trying I'm trying to get a job, See,
Mike,
we don't want to wait.
can you hear me?
Go ahead. Oh, go ahead now. I hear you now.
You know what I found out today? That over here, only 10 schools are allowed per school district. How does it go?
10 schools.
Only 10 schools for each district. They don't overload the district. There's schools in every single neighborhood. They all wear uniforms. You know.
Wow.
And where you at? This is the Mint DR.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. See. Yep. And that's good.
Yeah.
And you see, but if we were to hear any news about the DR, all we're gonna hear is over there in the DR.
What happened with Big Papi?
You can go over there and get you a woman from there. That's all we hear.
Yeah, and I was in another live, focused on Black women.
Right.
And I said how I really like living here. And, if I have kids, I'm going to be happy that they'll be dual citizens. And that's a whole topic by itself. Yes. Dual citizenship in the United States. You with the United States being one of the two. And Jesus Christ, man, it's crazy.
What?
But at least your children would come by honestly.
But you see, that's the good. See, our job is to highlight it is good in where we live. We have problems. So what white folks do with their media, they will tell you the truth, but I could deceive you even just telling you the truth. But I only tell you the negative truth. and it will form an impression in your mind that it's all.
Because everybody, the only things like the lady who it's her show, she was interested. And so, through the chat, I was responding to her, and there were so many people in the chat. Don't go to DR. They're racist. They're colorist. They're texturist. It's terrible. Don't go there. Don't go there. I'm like, first of all, you don't know where I'm at, right? And we don't know where you went. We don't know how you acted and carried yourself over there. You don't know how, the same for me. And instead of letting me get out, no, don't go, don't go, don't go, don't go. You know what I mean? And it's like I just wish people would shut the F up. The stupidest people always want to draw back all the freaking time. It's so annoying.
Right.
Yeah.
And we got to go through that annoying process. That's one of the issues. I wanted to find this one video that I can't find it, but I'm gonna pull it up a little later just to show. This is the issue that the good people, when I say good people, people that want better for the community.
Yes.
Okay.
Not just themselves.
Right. Not the dysfunction. And even some of the good people, we ain't all perfect either. So it's nothing wrong with having, we ain't perfect.
But so long as you striving for better,
yes,
that's what we all should be doing.
We don't want to strive. We don't want no pain. Just like what this chick said here. The black folks.
Every single school in the district, with the
They
number of
run it.
students, with the attendance. It is an evaluation form. All of the
The
employees in
black
the
people
district.
are running. Even the black people who do better, they're leaving.
Yes.
Which is true. But they're not really. They was leaving the city. They just went right across. A lot of us went across. And then, like me, we left. We went to Atlanta. We went to different parts of the country. But
the crazy part about here is we spread it out into the areas they were in, and then they left. But now they're coming in back in now, and property values are $350.
See, and this is the game. That's what. See, if we don't learn how to plan, then we just keep falling for stuff. And that's like I say, we can look at the system. This is a system that they have. So I'm glad you even brought up like the DR with the Haiti thing. They can use negative press, or they can use their press to focus a certain kind of attitude. And then if you don't have anything to combat that attitude, then you have to deal with that stereotype. That's kind of like what Detroit has. But usually they'll do that when people control the area who aren't a part of their club. So it's not even just black people, but it's mainly black people because that's where we're here, and even in this hemisphere. Like I got a thing even on with Grenada, how Reagan killed not Lumumba, but he killed the Grenadian president.
Like they just did the Haiti president.
Right, but Reagan killed this guy just outright. Anyway, oh my God, Maurice Bishop. You heard of Maurice Bishop?
I have not, no.
No,
but
okay.
It doesn't surprise me. I mean,
I got
they deposed leaders. Look at the Tanzanian president.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Gone.
Yeah,
they had to go. He made fools of them with their testing. He made fools of them for everyone to see. Yet some of us don't learn from that. They hold to, it's safe and effective.
Well, see, the thing is, it's like the thing is with the media, you have to keep repeating things over and over. That's why they have this symbology with the witch. If you're talking about the witch and that she's casting a spell, right? She has to say the thing over and over and over again, over and over again. And then it becomes true.
Chanting.
Yes, it becomes true. That's what the media has to do. And if you don't have a counter witch or counter spell, then to repeat the opposite, then their thing is going to become true of you. They just say it over and over again, over generations, and y'all end up filing for it. Oh, okay, here it is. This is part of what I wanted to play. So back in the yeah, and but that's the thing. We got to understand that. So that's the reason why Haiti is paying France. They could have stopped paying France at any moment if they had the political will to stop. You don't have to owe them nothing. Just come take it.
Oh, they owe them some. The number one salute.
I would be like, come take it. I'm building my place. But anyway, they obviously didn't have a political will. But what they do, they have some resources where they can stop you from trading with certain people. But then they also tell us, do they hate Castro over there in the DR? What do they feel about Cuba? Dubai? Oh, she's gone. Anyway,
she's gone.
Yeah, I guess she fell off or something like that. But yeah, the thing is, she probably had connection issues or something. But the thing is, they teach us to hate Castro. Oh, Castro's evil. Castro's evil. The people in Florida, those Cubans in Florida, we hate Castro. I actually had a friend. She was Cuban, and she was a very cool girl. Castro ain't shit. Like, damn, really? What's going on, Divide? Can you hear me?
Divide.
I guess she having a connection issue.
Right. Yeah, I would really like to hear how the DR views America when you have the Clintons showing up in Haiti to help people and give them 3 pennies for every dollar they take in.
Well, I know
through
that
the Clinton Foundation.
I know that the DR and Haiti have a conflict because a lot of Haitians be trying to run there to work. But that's only because obviously it's economic sanctions on Haiti.
Yes.
So keep trying because we listening for you. Just go ahead and chime in as soon as we can hear you. So just keep trying. Divide.
Yeah,
So,
they have them economically shut out in Haiti because they threw off oppression.
right.
And
We got to understand what sanctions look like. And what they do with these sanctions, just like they did in Libya, and like they tried to do in Russia, it don't work.
well, no, it's working.
No,
but now, hear me out. It's not that it's working necessarily on Russia. It's working here.
Right.
But they say the sanctions are on Russia. Yeah, I mean, dude, it's beyond preposterous that people don't have an issue with.
Yes,
oh, she's back. Go ahead.
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, no, I'll wait.
No, because I wanted to hear. Do you have any idea? Like, tell us what you know about the mood of between DR and Haiti, and like the mood of the people in DR towards maybe Cuba or something. Think it's positive, negative?
There's nothing negative towards Cuba. The only strife that I'm picking up from Haitians are the excessive amount of babies being born, and what they tell me is that it's very expensive to have a baby, and they get to have tons of babies for free, and the Dominicans have to pay for it. You will see Dominicans taking Haitian babies from the trash cans and raising them and loving them. So we have to just realize, like, you know how you can meet someone who's nice, and in the same race meet someone that's a terrible, vile person. People are going to be people. It's a spectrum. So, but it's not okay. When I first got here, I was in the capital, and I would never go to the capital if I was telling someone, if you come here to visit, don't visit the capital. And I know tourist spots there, but yikes. If you do go, please go with a Dominican. You know what I mean? That is from here because it was awful. It was terrible. But thank God, my husband is not from the city center. He's from like just and what is it? How far are you from? How far is your neighborhood from the city center? Like 20 miles? Yeah. So he grew up 20 miles. I bet if you just went 5 miles out, the whole attitude and energy is totally different. But you know, there are some people that they think, hey, they're good people, they're hardworking people, but I'm not gonna party with them. I'm not gonna invite them to my house. But then there's some people that they'll have them living with them. I mean, they might be a maid, but still, they'll let them live in the house or whatever. So it just depends.
Right. It's
Sometimes,
normal.
sometimes immigration looks for them when crime starts going up. But other than that, everything's pretty cool for the most part.
Okay. So they're saying they're having a lot of babies, but the thing is, only thing I'm saying is I'm wondering, and I always do this. I wonder what are the mechanisms that prevent trade, because I know Clinton had to. They messed up the rice that Haiti used to grow as a staple and as an export, because now the rice, chicken, and the milk is grown in Arkansas, and they got some kind of weird deal where they have to. You see, and what else? If your president decides to, renege on the deal, he ends up dead, I guess.
I mean, that's their MO.
Because y'all seen that when Clinton had to apologize to the Haitians.
Yeah.
What?
Y'all remember that?
No.
No? Okay, I'll
No.
play it quick, but I just wanted y'all to see, like, this is the hide your hand strategy. It's like you'll do something to destroy some people, and then, like, it takes 10, 20 years before they realize it's a problem, but now they're blaming each other. That's what we have here on the internet when people, oh, it's black on black crime, and your media kept pumping that kind of stuff to you. Instead of people doing what nations have done for thousands of years, which is trade with each other, grow their own food, make where they live somewhere decent. They got us thinking that, we need them to give us permission to be able to do something. And they use their military, they use their force or their sanctions to make sure that anybody who tries to step outside of that line
suffers.
Yes, so that it reinforces this idea. But I want to show this little part, and I'm gonna get y'all commenting on it, and then I guess we'll probably end it off in a little while. But I just wanted to show this. This is the port. This is a attitude. This is, to me, the good people, the people who are educated. We have to get a little bit more, understanding about we're not going to be able to depend on like white society to keep giving us jobs and stuff, because these people don't even like us. They wish we was dead, but it's too many of us. It's too many of us to just get rid of like that, because the thing is, they don't, what we don't see, they just start wholesale themselves with their own faces. You see, just like when they did this shooting here out there in Buffalo.
And a birthday surprise.
Each time they do a little shooting with their own face, with their Jesus white man face, it messes up their ability to get our trust. And that's their greatest weapon. But I'll show this part because this feeds into the way the white media does. Y'all gonna see it. This feeds into the gender war right here. Now listen to this. Did y'all see this before?
No.
Clip. Check this clip. I want y'all reaction.
When I went to Tops, we was like buying some cake mix.
Now y'all know her story. Her dad, when the white guy started, the devil, I should say, started shooting up and killing the old black people in the grocery store in the black neighborhood that he had cased out for days.
Yeah,
When he started
tops.
murdering, in Tops, it was a grocery store that black folks frequented in Buffalo. When he started murdering people, her father grabbed her and ducked out and hid inside of a cooler unit. Okay, kept her down, kept her safe. Now, also, the mom had been separated. But anyway, let's go through this. So that's what happened here, and they're doing this story here.
For my mom, but she did not know. She was like, people say I'm a really brave girl.
8-year-old London Thomas, her mom, and her dad went to the Tops on Jefferson Avenue in Buffalo Saturday to gather supplies for a cookout and a birthday surprise.
When I went to Tops, we was like buying some cake mix for my mom, but she did not know. She was like at the meat section so we could grill.
And then, as this family was separated, shots rang out.
Once they never stopped, you just gotta think like, I know I'm not in the situation that I thought I'd ever be.
London and her dad, Lamont Thomas, rushed to the back of the store, hiding in a cooler, Lamont's hand over London's mouth.
We went to the back of the store where the milk is, and the door was locked and we could not get out until like the manager opened the door. Then we had to go out the back door. And then like the cops lead us out.
At that same moment, gallons of milk were exploding around London's mom, Julie Hartwell, as bullets ripped through the store. She says she could hear the suspect's footsteps getting louder.
First instinct was dropping down to the floor of my chest and not really trying to put my head up, not really trying to look at anything, just focusing on trying to get somewhere safe. But at the same time, I'm worried about my daughter.
I was scared for my mom. I did not know what happened to her because she was at the front and I was at the back. I didn't know where she was. I thought she was gone.
London and Lamont ran out of the back of Tops and ended up on this side of the building, whereas Julie ended up on the other side of the building. She says those 20 minutes they were separated were some of the longest moments of her life.
20 minutes later, they gave me London, and that was the most longest wait I ever had in my life.
Throughout all of the chaos, London says she never felt scared because her dad was there.
Do you think your dad would always protect you?
Yes.
So you felt safe just because you were with him?
Yeah, my dad.
Now, London's happy to be back with her family.
All right, so Divide, do you see what is the reaction of the divestors? You're laughing. Why are you laughing? What are they going to say? Are they going to...
Mike, can I go tangent? It'll be quick. They knew the news. People were coming. They should have shampooed their carpet. But
You should be. Right, you're right. You're right.
You should be.
They're not going to address it. They're not going to address that.
They're gonna say he abandoned his girl, his wife.
No, how did he abandon her?
But I'm just saying, aren't they gonna do that? I think the way this news reported this, I don't know if I liked it because
they tried to clean up at the end.
They said the girl was brave.
Yeah, and they started off with mom and dad instead of dad and mom. I mean, that is not that for all the women listening, including you, Divide. That is not a slight. That is just the order of things. Like the little girl said, when they let it get cleaned up at the end, her dad protected her. That's our role. Not that women don't help us in that role. So take this ladies with all humility from men. Real men. Check it out. Father's Day. We could not be fathers without you. We couldn't. For Mother's Day, we cannot be fathers without you.
Look at
Go
this
ahead,
here.
Divide.
Now you got me right. You see that little plastic bottle on?
Y'all tripping, man. Y'all tripping.
Man, they dirty. Oh my God.
I
But
mean, that's home training. Everybody ain't got it.
hey, but you see what's up here. This is goodness. My goodness. Anyway,
Yeah.
but the thing is here, this is what I wanted I picked up on this. She's brave.
Yeah, that too. Yep.
Baby is brave. Okay.
Yeah.
It's just what I picked up on. They didn't say the dad saved his they didn't highlight that. They said, and they didn't highlight family. They highlight,
No.
girl is brave by herself. You can't really argue with that, otherwise you'll look dumb.
No.
Yeah.
You won't look dumb. You'll look mean.
Yes.
You'll look mean.
That's my point. If you can't argue with that narrative. And so they go through it and they center on her, which is, she's a baby. I don't know. That's kind of like the Venus and Serena with the reporter and the Richard Williams situation, or the Serena thing. You letting somebody get access to your girl and they asking these questions to set up stuff. I think that just kind of made them look, because it's like, I know people don't see it this way. Some people, normal humans, don't see it this way. But the women that we're having a gender war. Well, it's not really a war, but
conflict. Let's use their terms.
Yeah, people are arguing, and it's a problem. It's becoming actually a problem for our community because it makes it's spreading all over the planet, and it's actually filtering to another generation of people who haven't had the problems that caused this kind of argument. But it's almost like they make it seem like this guy left his wife. He didn't go look out for her. He wasn't worried about his wife. You know what I mean? Because we don't know if they asked that question or not, because they edit this stuff.
Yes.
She just had to fend for herself. Dad, they don't show where dad was concerned about her. I'm sure he was.
Yeah, I didn't like the part where they said where he put his hand over her mouth. Where obviously he's trying to get her to be quiet because of the situation.
Right. Yes. Well, and that's the only thing I'm just pointing that out because to me, I know these are really silly things, but because of what we got out here, the way people look at stuff is warped. You know what I mean? Obviously, they had been separated already. And he has the baby. So instead of him and the baby going to find mama, or maybe he even seen her dug down, we don't know. Because she said also they couldn't, because she was getting shot and Milk was getting right. So they must probably
exploding all around her.
So both of them was in a similar area or whatever. But I just wanted to kind of touch on that because of the way they do this media, and just they're really picking this thing apart. We're seeing more clips of this Buffalo thing, and they're really doing a psych job on it. But I think I want to end off on this point about people who are educated. Now, these folks they might not be the most educated folks. They're doing the best they can. They're family. They got, you're right, Divide. Clean that carpet. Look at this. Come on.
Y'all tripping.
Look. Come on. Oh, God, look at the house. It's okay.
Look,
like the news is coming.
Yeah.
Come on, y'all.
But y'all know they always pick
Or buy a rug and cover it or something.
Somewhere, but the thing is, like, oh, let's do the interview outside. My house ain't clean.
Yeah. Look, hey, look. I had to do an interview once, and that's exactly what I did. I said, you know what? I just cut the grass, trimmed the hedges. Let's do it outside.
What do I need to see? Y'all don't need to see this part. Come on, y'all. Why they show this
Like
picture?
you can flip outside. That would have been way safer.
Yes, the news is coming over. Millions of people gonna see us, guys. We're gonna show y'all a new house. I'm sure they renting, but okay. The thing is, because that does matter, even though this is media, and to us, some people will say, "Oh, that's nitpicky." Oh, you're looking at the wrong thing, and it's no, that matters.
And they are showing it for a reason.
Yeah, they edit this.
Thank you. He gets it.
It gives us an impression. And that's what I'm doing this stuff. Even the stuff that I picked out, people would say, "Oh, they didn't actually say that, Michael. They didn't say that." It's like it's the way that they're reporting it. It's like you get, and even him, like, look at him, like, bro, just straighten up a little bit, shave. The news is coming over. I don't know how they got him. And it's nothing wrong with him. He's a good dude. I seen him in another interview. So they obviously followed him home because they literally interviewed him right after the shooting. Because he's in another interview as well. But they're not bad people or nothing like that. But it's like you can show anybody in the wrong light and it gives a certain impression. But the good thing about it is they're family together.
Yeah.
See, that's what I like.
Dad did what he had to do to save their
Dad,
daughter.
The mama don't seem like she mad at the dad, but they don't show dad and mom together in no frame of this clip. They don't show them together. They're in the same house, but we don't actually see them together. You see that? He's being shown here. She's being shown, the daughter, and then here by herself. They live with each other. You see, and they even had, you can tell, you sit here now by yourself. And let's interview you because this is the same couch. Now you sit here. See that? That's what the impression that I'm getting.
They couldn't show them as a family unit. They couldn't do it.
You see that? This is the same house, same couch. They live together.
I bet you they would have if the husband was a female. They would have definitely showed it then.
If it was a white family, they're going to show a family. And we're looking at a family, but they show them like as separate entities. Even the way they reported it. That's the issue that I had with this. That's the only reason why I wanted to bring this up at some point just to document it. Is I just want us to be careful. Like the baby's by herself. She's the one that's brave. Not that her parents and the family, this is a brave family.
Yeah.
And it's so subtle. And that's the reason why I got this William Casey, my little profile here. And this William Casey was the director of the CIA. And they actually do all this influence. The stuff that they would focus on to influence people, they call it the Office of Dirty Tricks. In the CIA over there in New York, and then now they got it everywhere, of course. But the part that I've seen is it's like he set up this office, and it was dirty tricks, and a lot of the politicians that was funding it, I was like, what is that going to do to destroy the enemy? They couldn't understand it. They would have little stuff where they would run a news story about it was all about influencing. It was like, paying Disney to run this kind of cartoon or paying the New York Times editor to run this story. And they'd be like, what is that story going to do? It was all about mind influencing populations. And that's what it was hard for them to understand it back then, but obviously we're seeing the effect of it. And it's hard to even explain it to a lot of people unless you study this stuff. But that's what they do. They use the media, they influence populations, and that's how they get hardcore ideologies that take generations to get rid of. We will know our disinformation program is complete when everything the American public believes is false. That's their objective. And this is a quote from the director of the CIA. This is a governmental agency here.
The same agency that is only supposed to operate, or what we're told is only supposed to operate outside of America.
And they do, but like you said, that what they do, they have to operate inside America, but the people on the outskirts feel it too. See, because you got to realize they have to make, like for example, we were just talking about the DR, we was talking about the perception of the American, like you said, divide. Don't go to the Capitol. Don't go there. It's racist or whatever they were telling you. And then you do, and you go there yourself, and it's false.
Exactly.
It's a false perception. And we're not going to go through the whole thing, but I've seen interviews in how in the directors and the people that they paid to present that false perspective way back in the 80s and the 90s. And we, like I said, this stuff is too big for us to get, but that's what I wanted to do this show for, just to, to try to increase our ability to see this stuff. Just we got to understand this stuff is important. And I'm gonna end it off on this, and we're gonna get a reaction from you guys, and then we're gonna go do our thing. I know it's late. Let me get out of here and let y'all get out and go get some sleep. I know y'all gotta go to work or do something.
What time is it where you are?
It's only 9 where I'm at, but I know Stanley it's like what, 11?
Yeah, it's about to be midnight.
12. Dang, yeah. Let me let you get out. What time is it over there?
11:57.
Okay, so yeah.
Okay, so yeah, same time zone.
Yeah, well.
You must be on the East Coast.
Yeah.
I am. Anytime.
Yeah, the only thing they don't acknowledge daylight savings time, but we're on the same time zone.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that happens naturally. I mean, that's a form of control. It's all about control with them.
You're right. Because
they can't just leave people alone.
But you got to realize, see, this.
Damn.
I'm glad you've seen it. I'm glad you made that statement. I'm so glad you made that statement, Leroy. That's my point. It's like it's so small, little. Everything must be contested. I don't know if y'all worked at a job with white folks or whatever, but you bring something and you say, okay, this is how it is. We need to do this to get a better effect or to make the process more efficient. The white man will listen to you and he's gonna check it out himself, though. He ain't gonna just believe you. And then even if you right, he gonna add something to it to make it seem like
It's his.
Yeah.
or they'll remove you.
Yeah.
Let's not leave that out.
Yeah. He don't want you telling him what to do too much. And especially if you're right. Well, he don't want you telling him what to do. He don't like that.
Even when it's a good idea. Man,
it don't matter. I didn't and then even if it's a good idea, he probably would have done it that way anyway. But since you said it, he gonna do some of it and he gonna change it a little bit.
Look, I was on a project at UAB, I'll make it quick, and we had like 40 closets to clean. We'll just, keep it simple. We had to clean them up, right? And some closets had more materials in it than others.
Right.
So I suggested, we do a big closet, then we do a small closet. That way you get some progress. You're doing some things. Mm-hmm. Well, in the end, they end up firing everyone above me and gave me the project. Well, so I had to work it.
That's rare.
But look, they did not take my idea and use it. They never implemented. That didn't happen until they gave me the project.
Well, because the thing is, you're doing contracting, right?
Yeah.
See,
But
so
then I was in that situation. I was a permanent employee.
okay. Well, a lot of times, and see, those things are changing, but a lot of times we will hear that complaint from black folks. Black
Oh,
people
the
will.
complaint is real because, like I said, they never implemented the idea. That didn't happen until they were removed, and they said, "Leroy, you do it."
Right.
And I'm like, oh, "Okay, y'all done authorize all the overtime too. Watch me work."
Exactly. And that's what they kind of don't like. See, but that's actually a changed situation, and you benefited from that scenario in the past would have played differently a lot of times.
Oh yeah,
And
more times than not. Yep.
never got the opportunity to do it your way. You see what I'm saying?
No,
And
no,
also,
we were headed down unemployment or the soup line.
right, the
Yeah.
seed, and that's what that's a good scenario. But what a lot of times we got to understand is when we get the opportunity to do it our way, and it ties back into what the Bible was talking about with the spiritual system. And this is the foundational point. This is the interwoven principle is we are correct, but we have to have control. And we got to stop being afraid of words like manipulation. Manipulation is not evil. I got into an argument with somebody over that, but I'm not going to go into that. Anyway, we got to be able
It depends on how it's used.
Well, see, the thing is, we got to stop. Of course, it depends on how it's used, but manipulation is evil to us because we always are manipulated, and because we're letting the people who hate us manipulate us, we equate it with evil.
With words like disproportionately affected.
Yeah, disproportionate. See, and anyway,
Yeah, it's irritating when you said what was the name of that office? The office you just named, Office of Dirty Tricks.
Oh yeah.
What came to my mind? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
what came to my mind was, what are they? Professional trolls?
Yes, they are.
I mean,
yeah, because that's what they were the first trolls because they were taking over the news organizations, trolling black cities and stuff.
Which ties into what you said, Divide, about what happened in Ethiopia with them tearing the faces off because it looked like us. Oh man, the disciples were black. Well, that will put a pin in the balloon of some of us who walk around today saying, don't follow that system because that's the white man's way. Well, no, they were black. So I mean, Jesus went to Egypt after he was born. What I mean, do we not understand that Egypt is part of Africa now because it's Arabs in there? No, before that they looked like us.
And when you really go into that history, and like I said, we can talk about this all day, but the point is, even that part that we know today as Arabia, that's actually tectonic plate according to nature. That's actually a part of the same continent. That's Africa as well. They just call it the Middle East because those
Just
people
separated.
Those people are black as well. They just the people that's there now. Well, most of the people, because even the black people are still there. But
the people they show us.
Yeah, the people who they show us are actually folks from the north. They're from like up there, like Iran, way up north, and they just came in down there and mixed in and kind of that's a mulatto race basically. So that's
kind of like the Khazars came down and they didn't mix in.
Yeah, like stuff, the Europeans, those folks, even the what you call the gypsies, because that gypsy is like Egypt. It's a lot of good little stuff that we could pick up and we'll see it. But the point is this: our spiritual system benefits us. If you in the spiritual system and it's not benefiting your self-esteem, your community esteem, and developing and legitimizing you. See, we have to be able to, our stuff is not, we find it hard to look at each other as legitimate. If a black person says something, we need the white person to kind of confirm it for us.
Yeah.
Okay. See, that's been put in us. And even if you know it, you still do it. You can know it. And
Exactly.
you gotta find a white person to judge because we don't know nothing. We dumb. And that could be a black scientist, it doesn't matter. But if we have to find a white person to, see, even white people say it. Okay, it must be real. And that's because of this. Over generations, this is what that is for.
Like going to the moon.
Right. We don't suspect them. We're not suspicious of their words. Like
or
suspicious of each other.
Or like going to Mars. I've talked to people and I just have one simple question. If you get to Mars and the gravity is different there, here you weigh 200 pounds. You get up there, you weigh 6. How this gonna work?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? It don't. So we not going.
Mars is supposed to be smaller than us, so you should weigh less. But
yeah, but you won't be a Martian when you get there. You'll still be an Earthling.
Right.
So if you weigh 200 pounds here and you weigh 600 pounds up there, how that's gonna work? You're gonna be able to just walk around?
Elon Musk put out the little call. He even said it's a suicide mission. You're not going to come back. No, seriously, he said that. And he's got like a few thousand people that still want to do it.
Oh, great. Then get him, Bill Gates, Soros. It's a whole lot of people that need to go. Can they go?
Nope. They're gonna send the suicide mission there to die. And I guess they can get all the drugs they want, maybe. I don't know. And I don't know what they want to do. Anyway, but that's that. But my point is, we got to start being suspicious of them.
Yes.
You see see this look here? See that look like, really? Really? What you telling us? After all this racism you done did and all this history we got on you, we just believe what you say without checking it? That's what we need.
He said he'll have who voting what for 200 years?
The Negroes. Yeah, this is how they do it.
Voting Democratic for 200 years. And he didn't use the word Negroes.
Yeah, N-word. And I mean, even though we can say it on YouTube, I don't really, it's not something that I just use because really it's like, I mean, I say it sometimes, but I don't flippantly say that no more. I don't say that flippantly like that no more. Because as I done read too many books, and it's just like, I'm not using a word. But anyway.
But then you have people who look like us who will say, well, no, he ain't say that. What?
Yeah. Well, because that's my point. It's like it's very tough for us. We can know a fact. You can know a fact, but you have to feel and internalize a fact and a belief. People don't go by what they hear and what they know factually. They go by what their feeling is. Like, you can know you need to stop eating this particular food, you need to stop smoking, you need to stop drinking. But until something happens where you actually decide and you feel it internally, like I'm not doing this, then you're not going to follow through with it. And that's the issue that we had. That's the reason why you have to keep repeating the same stuff over and over through generations, because that's what they were doing to get us like this. But let me show y'all this here, and let's comment on this, and then we'll check out. But this is back in the 60s, in America, black people were fighting. They had just killed Martin Luther King, and black people tore up the cities, ran everybody out of the cities. And this we didn't realize that's actually what is called winning. But we didn't understand that that was a military victory, and we didn't know what to do after that. But let's just look at this.
Uncle Tom niggas in the same old way, man. Y'all come out that bad. Y'all gonna leave the community and talking about better the community. How you gonna leave the community, man? Leaving us out here all by ourselves. Y'all supposed to be so-called leaders, so-called Negro bourgeois, snob, Uncle Tom. What's wrong with y'all anyway, man? Y'all come out, you talking about buying a new house? Y'all be buying you some guns, some ammunition, man, for this revolution. You talking about moving to a new community, a new house? How you gonna, what you gonna do to a new house? New houses and clothes and all this. What you gonna do with all that old stuff, man, when the stuff come down, man? Your kids. What's wrong with, what about the rest of the kids, man? You ought to stay out here, man, and help somebody. Down here? Yeah, rebuild it, man, from the ground up, man. This, man, you know how construction and all that. We got people who ain't got jobs, man, need homes. Good niggas, huh? That's what you gonna be down here? What you gonna be down here, huh? Man, you missing this black dignity thing, this black pride, man. You doing good. You good niggas all alike, man. I don't know what's wrong with y'all, man. Yeah, bourgeois. Oh, you're Tom. You tell me you're Tom, huh? Good nigga. Okay. Play on then, Uncle Tom.
The black.
So now that was rough. Now I just wanted. This is the educated versus the, I guess. Well, I wouldn't even say educated. I would say this is the foot soldier versus the builder. Okay, and this is the dynamic that I wanted to leave off on. That was kind of rough. Now, what do y'all think? Just your reaction to that.
What was what was going on? I don't get it.
Okay, what happened was basically okay, so the history is basically that is a synopsis of a conversation that happened back in the 60s, the 50s. Black people were fighting racism, all sorts of things,
segregation,
and all of these things. Okay, they were being repressed in the cities and various things. Some of the black leaders had been killed, right? Right after that particular one, Martin Luther King had got killed, and there was riots throughout the cities in America, because blacks were we were sick of the inequality, we were sick of the dehumanization that was from the white people. So they rioted, right? And all of our cities got kind of destroyed, kind of like it just kind of got torn up through riots. So you see all of the trash, you see the broken buildings, okay? You see that. So what you have is a conversation here between the educated kind of black person who has the degrees, who understands how to create infrastructure, how to create economic systems, how to create businesses. You have that conversation versus a guy who's all he know how to do is fight. He's a physical guy. You see what I mean?
Don't leave out the part that the educated Negro is leaving.
That's what I'm hitting at. You see,
Yeah,
when
he's getting somewhere.
When it's time for war, a lot of times you have people that are uneducated, and they come up with fighting because it's an injustice. There's an imminent danger. People are being dehumanized. So there's a big conflict. But after that conflict, the people who were running everything, they leave because they're done. They're not going to keep having this conflict. And so now you have it on your own. Now you got it. You have control of the area. You literally now have control. But this is how the area is going to look when you have control of it, because you just had a battle. You just fought. You know what I mean? Are you kind of getting, and so when it's time to start rebuilding, when it's time to start taking over the city, running for mayor, running for a city council, setting up, this guy for the business professional. This guy is leaving now because this guy who's complaining and cursing him out, he doesn't have the skills to build up stuff. He might be a good police chief. You know what I'm saying?
In the role of protector, yeah.
Right. He might be a good police chief, but that's kind of that conversation. Are you kind of getting it a little, Divide?
Okay, yes. Yeah.
No, so that's so there was a feeling of betrayal there. Kind of,
Okay.
and so what you have is in every country, it's about every black controlled nation, you have these particular class of black folks from there that may be a little bit more educated, like let's say in the Caribbean, let's say even in Africa, I know this. They will have a particular class of black folks. Their parents worked hard. They sent them to schools to be educated, right? And these people they get educated, so they understand they're engineers, they're doctors, they're lawyers, they're educators, they're teachers. But once they have those degrees, now they have this valuable thing that they can go into different parts of the world to get themselves some value. The community that fought hard to get them some of the equal access that they didn't have prior, that community is kind of dependent on them. This is why we struggle so hard to get you guys some education. Can you come back here and help us out? I know it's hard. I know we cussed you out. It's hard to deal with us. But what do you think about that? That's why I want to get our impression on that dynamic. Do we recognize that? Have we seen that? Do we understand that? Have you ever heard? Go ahead,
Definitely.
Leroy.
I mean that's a synopsis of where we at currently. I mean, there are those who had the means to. They're referred to as the talented 10th in our community,
right?
Who are the smartest among us, at least looking at it from an educational standpoint. But sometimes we end up with an educated dummy, where they don't see the value of staying and building. They take their value and leave. And I'm all for one bettering themselves, but you have to you're not alone in this world when you're looking at your own group. So at some point it can't be all about self, because if it's always all about self, you end up empty and alone.
Right. And I just wanted to end off on this kind of point, because to me this is the solution. It's like we gotta see the long game. I know this is real hard because the person who's a more refined person, they're not going to get into this. This is a rough guy. You know what I mean? The natural organizer and leader, even the guy he's trying to get this guy to run the show. But the guy who's educated has other options, and he doesn't have the patience to go through the hardships, go through the danger that it would take to get control of the area, solve the problems. It's a decades long process. But guess what? Other communities have that ability. They got that. They come in where you left, and they will. You see, that's what it gave me that idea, like divide, when you said we don't know where these Chinese people live.
Right.
You see, it's because the spot of business owner, the spot of resource control, that spot, that position, it should be in the hands of the Black people or the indigenous people who live there. But if these guys want to leave, if they don't want,
No, it's an admonition, man. For this revolution, you talking about moving to a new community, a new house? How you gonna, what you gonna do to a new house? New houses and clothes and all this. What you gonna do with all that old stuff, man? When the stuff come down, man, your kids. What's wrong with, what about the rest of the kids, man? You ought to stay out here, man, and help somebody. Down here? Yeah, rebuild it, man, from the ground up, man.
you got to rebuild it from the ground up. I know it's hard, and he looks dumb. His language is rough, but he is right. If you're gonna run your country, you like the Haitians. I know they want to run and go somewhere and get in because it's probably better in America. Somebody else's stuff is better because they built their stuff up. But it's like, really, for you to control something, no, they're gonna take their resources away. They're not gonna just give you something. If you want to build your stuff up, you're gonna have to build it from the ground up while it's ugly, and you got to make it look good. You got to plant your own crops. You got to go through the hardship of digging them up and learning your lessons and feeding your community, all that. Because if you don't do that, what's going to happen is another group is going to come in from overseas, some Indians, some Chinese. They're going to come, and your community is going to give them the money. Yep. And they're going to start, abusing your people. They don't care about what they bring into your community. They don't care that they bring all this old poison in there and whatever they bring in from overseas, guns, prostitution. They sell drugs too in these stores. Old meat, old food, and then all kind of crap. They don't care because the natural business owner of that community ran away because he didn't feel like dealing with Pookie and Rayway and and the problems. The Chinese people, they sat there, and the Arabs and whoever comes in our neighborhood, they dealt with all of that stuff. They got their store right in the hood, right?
Yeah.
So you can't tell me, you Black people, professionals, you can't tell me that we couldn't have dealt with this here and made
we
it
could
better.
have, but we also can't leave out that they are giving incentives that aren't given to us to build in our own communities.
Mm-hmm.
And not that we looking for a handout. No, just give us what we're owed.
But I just don't think that we have the vision to see the problem with running away. You actually can build power where you control the business and you actually have money. But in the beginning, you're not going to have it. It's going to be a struggle. But let's say this guy stood there. Let's get some people together. You see this building here. I'm going to go downtown. I'm going to draw up the paperwork. We're going to take control of the deed to this land here in this building. You get us some bricklayers, some masons, some electricians. We're going to build this. This is going to be our headquarters. This is going to be our training center. We control. It's going to be janky at first, but that's what we're going to do. That's what you need a professional organizer for. That's why we send people to school. You see what I'm saying? They may not be good at fighting and battling and stuff, but we got folks to fight and battle and shoot and, protect when it needs to be protected. But once that fighting and battling is over, we need these people to try to come back and understand the process of building. And
No doubt.
much how I want to get there. And just I
But
want to
the talented 10th
go ahead.
sees it, that it's better for me to leave, and I got mine, you get yours.
Exactly. That is, but see, the talented 10th, they actually put themselves in danger at some point in time as well, because what ends up happening,
because they compromise.
well, not only do they compromise, but what happens is they're always going to be the minority in wherever they go, because they're not going to let you get into the real source of power
Unless you're controlled.
No, you ain't getting there. That they will never let.
Oh,
I'm talking about when I say the real source of power. The real source of power is you can do stuff without asking or
reprisal. Yeah, you just do it.
You're not getting there. You ain't getting there. So
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm gonna let y'all get on here. But yeah, I'm glad, Sister Divine. I'm glad you came up. Leroy, you as always welcome. Hopefully we put us a nice little team. Yeah.
Divide, don't be a stranger.
Yeah.
Hey, gentlemen, please check the private chat. If you don't have WhatsApp, download it. I have a proposal. I know you're trying to go, so that's why I'm doing it this way, because I know you've been trying to go, Mike, for a while. So please, it's business. It's no funny business. It's real business.
Okay. I'm gonna check that out because I think I got WhatsApp too. I'll download it and we'll check it out. We'll talk. We'll sound.
LS2. It's the three of us. I believe in things. Everything happens for a reason. I mean, the pair of you, your energy is it's so great. So, anyways, please check the private chat. I hope we can collab and do something positive, solution oriented, even if it's just planting a seed, So yeah, I really like this energy.
Oh yeah, we got to grow it. Just like I said, stuff starts off. It doesn't start off. It's not going to start off looking good. Sometimes it looks good, but it doesn't start off with all the bells and whistles. I'll say it that way. But the issue is, do you control it? That's what we got to understand. If you sell out, like let's say we start a company or whatever, or anything, and then you start to do pretty good, and here comes the white man.
Hey, I'll buy you out.
You struggling with $100,000, $50 million. Here you go. Just agree to our terms. You know what we can do with $50 million? Oh, but those terms are jail. You no longer control. Your vision is gone. And if they're gonna pay you $50 million, what do they see? So, that kind of thought process is kind of what was good. So we're gonna touch base with you, sis. I'm gonna touch base with you.
Hey, if Chappelle could speak openly, and candidly, he could give us some real insight on that, because he told them to take your 50 and stick it.
Right. But Chappelle's actually a good example, because what he did of like I said, we can go through this all the time, but the point is, nobody got all the money. So there's the money out there, but it's control. That's more important.
Yeah.
That's what we've been missed. Control. So anyway, guys, I appreciate y'all. I'm about to end it off. I'm glad y'all came up here. Great energy, and share the show. It's a small show, but whatever. It's undocumented. You never know who might get to it, who might look at it, who might get an idea. All right, y'all. Peace out. Peace.
All right.
That's me, Divide. All right,
All
Mike.
right.